RCA. He needed to do something. And so he did the right thing. He said, what the heck? There's a chance they aren't going to be able to pull it off. And at least I'm making an effort. And so I felt pretty beat up, candidly.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Thursday, December the 12th. All times are Eastern. And please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 7 p.m., Toronto Maple Leafs take on the Anaheim Ducks. Leafs on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 946. Ducks on Internet 920. 7 p.m., New Jersey Devils face the LA Kings. Devils on Sirius 209, XM 220, and Internet 936. Kings on Internet 932. 7 p.m., Montreal Canadiens face the Pittsburgh Penguins. Canadiens on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 934. Penguins on Internet 941. 7 p.m., Philadelphia Flyers take the Detroit Red Wings. Flyers on Sirius 210, XM 221, and Internet 940. Red Wings on Internet 929. 7 p.m., Columbus Blue Jackets face the Washington Capitals. Blue Jackets on Sirius 211, XM 222, and Internet 927. Capitals on Internet 950. 7:30 p.m., New York Islanders take on the Chicago Blackhawks. Islanders on XM 223, Internet 937. Blackhawks on Internet 925. 8 p.m., Winnipeg Jets face the Vegas Golden Knights. Jets on Sirius XM channels 160. Internet 951. Knights on Internet 949. 8 p.m., St. Louis Blues take on the San Jose Sharks. Blues on XM 206, Internet 944. Sharks on Internet 942. 8 p.m., Dallas Stars take on the Nashville Predators. Stars on XM 202, Internet 928. Predators on Internet 935. 8:30 p.m., Minnesota Wild take on the Edmonton Oilers.
Up front, Connor McDavid with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach.
Back. We're underway from St. Paul. The Wild from right to left on your radio dial in the opening period. Wearing their green sweaters here tonight. Oilers in the opening frame, skating from left to right, wearing their white jerseys. And again, Gustafsson and Pickard, the goaltending matchup. Evan Bouchard back for a loose puck, slashed it along. Rossi had a clang off his glove. McDavid tries to fly along. Here's Connor McDavid over the blue line with a cross-ice pass that tipped. Nugent-Hopkins helped it to the point. Now Bouchard off an Ekholm feed, had his shot blocked out in front. It's muscled back towards the goal mouth. Faber denies that path for Edmonton, and now Kaprizov skies it ahead through center. Both teams change on the fly. 40 seconds gone by in the first.
Well, we've gone by the 29-second mark. That was the time that the first goal was scored in Edmonton by the Oilers.
That's right. That was the fluttering, knuckling, rolling, spinning puck that Draisaitl had no intention of scoring a goal on, and I don't think Marc-Andre Fleury did either, but the Wild responded beautifully in that hockey game.
Yeah, and that shot was taken from the Edmonton side of the red line.
Here is Draisaitl, the NHL leader with 20 goals on the season. He'll feed Darnell Nurse, who was out of the lineup when these two teams played last month. Nurse worked at the Kapanen. Recently claimed off waivers just prior to the Wild and Oilers playing in November. Kasperi Kapanen had it taken away, but he'll regather. Dropping it off Podkolzin, and Draisaitl back to Podkolzin. Didn't get much on his one-timer in tight. Puck lifted along by the Oilers. It'll sneak out to center. 90 seconds gone by in the first.
Yeah, you can see the Oilers. They are skating right now. Minnesota's got to be very careful. That was Hardman who kind of gave the puck away in the neutral area.
Long wrister by Nurse from the neutral zone. Knocked down by Gustafsson. He'll just leave it off for his defense. Sean Merrill to spike it ahead. Lauko tips in. With his goal stick, Pickard knocked it away from immediate trouble. Trenyon now to swing it rink wide. Bogosian pinched in to try and keep the Wild in business. Eventually, it's Jeff Skinner for Edmonton. Should point out, just because we might be a little off, so to speak, the shot clock here at XL Energy Center not operating properly. That part of the center hung video board is our understanding, so we'll do our best to update you on the shots, but it won't be as easy as just looking out at the big center hung video board. As the Oilers in business here, a point shot hammered wide by Emberson. He was acquired from San Jose in the Cody Ceci deal in the offseason. Zach Bogosian now from Minnesota to scale it ahead. A bouncing puck up past Ekholm. Flying after it goes Lauko, but Ekholm's there first, so Lauko curls back as Minnesota finishes a line change. A little bit more than 2 minutes played in the opening period. Ekholm to crank one in from center. Blocker to the corner by Gustafsson. Spurgeon tapped at it. Husadinov got his stick in a passing lane, but it's worked to the point for a shot that got muted out in front. Husadinov forcing it away from Derek Ryan. Edmonton gets to the point again. Ekholm a shot, stopped by Gustafsson. There was a lot of traffic in front. Oilers really with a shooting mentality early on, Tom.
Yeah, they really are. They're moving their feet right now. Minnesota's got to equal that challenge also. They've got to get shots at the front of the net.
Ben Jones, a little wrister off the rush left side. Stopped by Pickard. Rebound was loose for a moment back of the cage. Now Bouchard winds it along. Corey Perry picks it up. The 39-year-old finds Evan Bouchard. On the road this year, 9 points in 13 games as he spins back in the neutral zone and then found McDavid trying to streak over the blue line. McDavid cut up right circle, feathered it back. Kulak a shot, and Gustafsson made the stick save. That speed of McDavid there, you got to respect that, Tom. He was able to cut up and find the late help coming.
Yeah, and not just his speed, also how deceptive he can be when he has it, but you don't know which way he's going to go.
Rossi into the left wing corner looking for Boldy. That's broken up. McDavid trying to burst ahead. McDavid thought about splitting the D. He'll hand it off now. Nugent-Hopkins back to Connor McDavid. Hit 1,000 career points this season did McDavid. He'll work one of the point. Nurse with a little shot. It was blocked out in front. Swept away from trouble by Bogosian. But racing to it is McDavid. He'll cut past Bogosian. Bogosian recovered and slammed down 97 in white along the end wall. Kaprizov the other way from Minnesota. Up to Rossi. Bogosian probably saying, I might not be able to skate with you, but I'll certainly slam it to the ice if you give me the chance.
Yeah, there's a shot clock working right now, Joe. Look like 4-1 in favor of Edmonton.
You see that? As soon as I say it's not going to work all night, maybe I got bad intel after all. Did you set me up, Tom Reed?
Yeah, I certainly did.
Nugent-Hopkins carries in. Excuse me, that's Podkolzin, the former Canuck. Off to Draisaitl, ripped it around the boards. Edmonton holds in here. It is Vasily Podkolzin playing it to the point. Ekholm cuts through the slot, trying to weave past some trouble. Did come out in front with a little four-handed try. It sailed over the crossbar. Oilers work it back to the blue line, but it leaks back through center. And again, the Wild look to go off on a line change.
Yeah, this is a good skating club. I'm referring to the Minnesota Wild, but also at the same time, so is their opposition right now. They are moving their feet and they're getting shots away. It's 4-1 in favor of Edmonton right now in the shots department.
Here's Troy Stetcher through the slot. His chance caught a body and found the netting. So 5:01 gone by in the first. And we are still scoreless, but Edmonton with the early momentum.
Yeah, if you look at both these teams also, if you look at their last 7 games, they're both equal. They've won 6 and lost 1 in those last 7. Edmonton, of course, is scoring a lot of goals. They scored 26 goals in that stretch, giving up just 13. And they're also a plus 13, in the difference there. So they've been very, very good as of late. They're playing with a lot of confidence right now.
The Wild have played 9 games since they bested the Oilers on November the 21st up in Alberta. To Tom's point there, 6-1 the stretch for Edmonton. That comes after losing to Minnesota. So Oilers have won 6 of 7 after the Wild took 2 points at Rogers Place. Oilers able to clear out through center ice after Minnesota had worked it along. Lauko now up to Gaudreau. He'll find Trenyon. Stabbed off his stick for a moment. Jeff Skinner's got it. First year with the Oilers after a long time with the Buffalo Sabres. Matthias Janmark now dropped it off for Stetcher, and his one-timer is in the glove of Gustafsson with 14:30 to go in the first.
You look at Jeff Skinner, number 53 also, and of course you mentioned Buffalo, but here's a guy that all the years he has played, he has never been in an NHL playoff game in all those years. I can't imagine how difficult that must be. When the season ends, you're done. Never been in a playoff game. Wow.
Played over 1,000 career games. 7th overall pick in 2010 by Carolina, Jeff Skinner.
In fact, his first game was against Minnesota in Finland back in 2010.
Here's Connor Brown for the Oilers off a 1 face-off. He's checked along the boards by Husnadinov. It's dislodged free, I should say. Jones to Husnadinov. His first goal of the season Tuesday on that breakaway opportunity to tie the game at 1 in Utah. Oilers working out of their own zone with Brown, swinging it to Kulak, the weak side D. Faber stayed with him, pinned him up, took him off the puck. Jones back to gather. Ben Jones spins out of the right wing corner. Shifted it rink wide. Bogosian hacks it in. Again, the Wild change is Pickard out with his goal stick. Puts it on the tape of Kulak. Brett Kulak, former Flames draft pick, and a helper Tuesday in their 2-1 win over Tampa. He'll be content to sit back behind his own net. Oilers sending a few players out to center ice for a long stretch pass, which eventually works its way to Hyman. Zach Hyman around the cage, and he was upended by Boldy, who took a couple penalties Tuesday in Utah. Ekholm now. Empty net as Pickard's gone to the bench for the extra attacker. McDavid finds Draisaitl, right circle, floats it back. It's McDavid cutting through the high slot. Had a lane, lost the puck for a moment. Wheels it back to Draisaitl now. Once more McDavid. Boldy or Rossi trying to stay with him. McDavid then with a pass, it hit some skates. No whistle yet. Oilers here in an extra attacker situation. McDavid to the back post. It ricocheted through the blue paint and stayed out. And the Wild touch up.
Yeah, once again, stick and fracture is going to cost Minnesota here. There's going to be a penalty going against the Wild right now as number 12 makes his way to the box right now. And Kevin just handed me a note also that Middleton is not on the bench right now. He blocked the shot and he's gone down the passageway.
Number 12, 2 minutes for tripping.
Now, Boley had a couple of penalties out in Utah the other night also. And, of course, Utah had 2 power play goals in that game.
Timeout on the ice. The Wild being outshot 5-1. They'll be shorthanded when we come back. It's still scoreless, though, the Wild and the Oilers here in the opening period. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Leave the noise and the chaos of the holidays behind and escape to a channel filled with cozy piano, string and horn versions of your holiday favorites. Set the mood for a stress-free season with Sirius XM Holiday Instrumentals. Now through Christmas Day on the Sirius XM app, along with dozens of other holiday channels and specials.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
The Executive Director, Vice President of Hockey Operations for the NHL, Colin Campbell.
The one thing that we're wrestling right now, like when do you change a call? We talk about a listening device in the referee's ear. Do we make that next step? How more perfect can we make a game through video review and helping the officials on the ice?
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter. Haaland scores the hat-trick.
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Well, no goals as of yet, but the Wild are sitting back on their heels a little bit. Edmonton is really skating well right now. They've outshot Minnesota at this stage 5-1. Face off deep in the Minnesota zone, and Minnesota shorthand with Boldy in the box.
Oilers find McDavid off the rush. He'll fire one in front. They score. It's Draisaitl, his 151st career power play goal. That's an Oilers record. And just seconds into the man advantage, Edmonton takes a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, we talk about staying out of the box, and Boldy had a couple penalties out in Utah as well, and their stick infractions that he's getting. So you got to keep the stick tripping, especially. You're getting into the stick into the skates of the player who's got possession of the puck. But the power play goal did not take very long, just 5 seconds. But McDavid does a nice job. And you can see Draisaitl, he was positioned to the right of the goaltender, out by the circle there. And he, as soon as he saw McDavid with the puck, he started moving in, and McDavid made the perfect pass to him. Just a redirect in there, and it's a 1-0 lead for Edmonton.
Draisaitl, one of 8 active players with 20 or more goals in 9 straight seasons coming in. As Boldy here carries along, he'll fire a shot, kick save by Pickard. Boldy to his own rebound. Bottled up, Rossi took over, jammed it around the boards. Faber attacks from the right point, wristed one, that's in the glove of Pickard. He'll hang on.
For number 29, Leon Draisaitl. Assist to number 97, Connor McDavid. And number 2, Evan Bouchard. Time of the power play goal, 6:59.
And boy, you look at those 3 players that are involved in that. Those are guys who could get points for it. Even Bouchard back in that blue line. He's another guy that can pick up the points. He's got 20 points already. He's the number 1 team on the defensive side of things that can get those points for you.
Wild on a loose puck here with Kaprizov, trying to wrist it along. It's blocked, comes right back to him. Real Kaprizov came into this game, tied for second in the NHL in points. Trailing only Nathan McKinnon. Bouchard now deep in his own zone, off to Matthias Ekholm. He turned it over. It's Kaprizov through the slot with a wrister. And it hit the chest protector of Pickard. Rebound grab by the Wild, turned up top. Spurgeon a shot. Blocker save Pickard. A couple of good chances for the Wild to try and pull even. McDavid now grabs a loose puck. He'll burst ahead. Connor McDavid all the way through the neutral zone into the Wild end before handing it to Zach Hyman. Hyman lofted in front, stick save Gustafson. Nurse holds the line and churns it back of the net. Zach Hyman's been playing much better lately. He scored in back-to-back games before Tuesday. He's got 10 points his last 13. As Draisaitl now rumbles in. Chisholm trying to stay with him. Draisaitl cut off by Hartman as he cut around the net. Marcus Johansson coming off a 3-point game for Minnesota, able to knuckle this puck free to Bogosian. His pass is a little too far for Chisholm. Podkolzin kept it in. Now open in front was Draisaitl, but he waved and couldn't connect on a puck around his shin pads. A giveaway now by Foligno is taken by Kapanen. He'll weave it to the point. Kulak slapped it back into the corner. Podkolzin back of the net looking for Draisaitl. Bogosian picked his pocket, and Zach Bogosian will come out right side, spin off a hit, make a nifty pass middle of the ice for Chisholm, who quickly plays it to Hartman. Hartman carries the Wild ahead, right wing side, floats it into the cross corner. Johansson to grab it and ratchet it down low as the Wild look to cycle. Behind the net of the Oilers is big Marcus Foligno. Played it to the point for Faber, and his opportunity hit some skates. Muscled along. Skinner tries to throw it out through center ice. That hit Hartman, bounces into the Oilers bench. And with 10:56 to go in the first, another whistle with the Wild trailing the Oilers 1-0.
Yeah, Hartman blocked that shot a little bit too, and just making sure he's okay as he gets into the bench right now, stepping up there, but he's all right. But the loss of Middleton is going to be a huge loss for Minnesota. Hopefully he'll be back sooner than later. Right now they've got Merrill out there with Faber on that point position. A little juggling of handling the defense out there, making sure you get the right combinations together, hopefully.
Skinner pickpocketed, and we got a fight here away from the plate. It's Lauko and Ty Emberson Out at center ice, Lauko left and then a quick right. A few rights by Lauko. He's got Emberson in some trouble. Left-right combo by Lauko. Emberson threw a few that missed. Now a right uppercut by Emberson. A couple of uppercuts by Emberson. Lauko fed him a few rights in the process. Big shot by both sides here as Emberson and Lauko twist around. They tie up and they'll separate them.
Boy, you have to give Lauko a lot of credit. He hasn't had a lot of games, but I'll tell you, he's a gamer, and they're just talking to each other right now. Said, good job, feats of their opponents, and they're both penalty box. I'm not sure it precipitated that. That must have could have happened in the pre-skate. Not quite sure, but Lauko is not afraid to mix it up.
Yeah, they were 30 feet away from each other, Tom, while play was going on. They just started shaking the mitts, so probably predetermined, I'd imagine just before the draw or maybe the last time out, but some big shots by both parties out at center ice.
They did. Finally grab onto each other, and the officials step in. These penalties being called at 9 minutes and 11 seconds. Maybe it's the way Minnesota's kind of sitting back a little bit, Joe. They're very apprehensive in their game out here right now. They're not jumping with a lot of speed, so Minnesota's got to find a way to get that back.
Second fight of the year for Emberson. Lauko now with 13 penalty minutes on the campaign. Chance in front for the Oilers, and a stick save by Gustafsson as Janmark was alone at the back post. Adam Henrique now for Edmonton. Twisting it along. Trenyon's there. He'll scoop it back for Merrill. Along to Faber out of the right wing corner. He'll play it ahead. Trenyon hits the red line, chisels it in. Goudreau pressures. Back with Stetcher to reverse it. It's tossed ahead, and it'll come out to the neutral zone. Spurgeon goes D to D. Chisholm rims it back in. Nearing the midway point of the first. Big, heavy hit by Trenyon. The Wild keep in here. Spurgeon and Kaprizov back to Spurgeon for a drive, and that caught a body and found the netting over the head of Calvin Pickard.
Yeah, just watching Trenyon right now and just having a few words out there. No damage done, but that may continue later on down the road here. I believe that was with Darnell Nurse. Nurse, their big defenseman, also 6'4", 215 pounds, and leads this team Edmonton team in blocked shots with 50 on the year. Face-off is going to be deep in the Edmonton zone. To the left of Pickard. Shots right now have both teams now at 6. At one time it was at 5-1 in favor of Edmonton, so Minnesota's picking up their pace.
Lauko just went back to the Wild dressing room at that last whistle. Looks like Emberson is back in the Oilers dressing room as well as the puck off the draw ends up in the netting on a shot by the Wild that deflected out of play, and we are halfway through the first. 9:56 to go in period one. The shots now are 6 aside, but the Oilers, on a power play goal by Leon Draisaitl, will have a 1-0 lead here in St. Paul. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
So, after you lift weights, your body keeps burning calories for hours post-workout. Oh, like a BMO Savings Builder account. What?
With BMO, I can get a reward every month I save.
So, you're getting an extra reward for the work you've already done?
Exactly. Plus, BMO gave me a cash bonus when I opened a checking account.
That's a flex.
This is a flex. Check out these pythons.
Pump up your savings with BMO. Conditions apply. Learn more at BMO.com/kickstart. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
BMO. You have a job and a paycheck. Sure, that usually works for keeping your finances on track. But there are times when having access to the money you've already worked for can be a game changer. In between times are the ones that can make a big difference in your life. In comes Daily Pay. With Daily Pay, you can access your earned wages when you want them. Because your hard work happens on the daily, you should be able to reap your rewards on the daily. Find out if your company offers Daily Pay. Visit us at get.dailypay.com.
Sport update. Across the National Hockey League, we'll start in Toronto, where the Maple Leafs have taken a 3-2 lead over the Ducks. This despite the Leafs losing their goaltender, Anthony Stolarz, early in that hockey game to a lower body injury. Joseph Wall in between the pipes now for the Leafs. Penguins lead the Canadiens 3-2 after 40 minutes of hockey. Kings and Devils knotted at a goal apiece. The Blue Jackets lead the Capitals 1-0 at Nationwide Arena. And the Islanders with an early 2-1 lead over the Blackhawks. Actually about 6 minutes left to go in the second. That's all for now. Back to Joe and Tom.
Boy, that's a big loss for Stolarz. If he's out injured right now, he leads the NHL in the save percentage at .928. Of course, with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So you lose your goaltender, your star goaltender, that does create a problem. But right now, Minnesota's behind 1-0. I think Minnesota's finally woken up a little bit also, Joe. They had a little bit of a slow start. They were outshot 5-1 at one point. Right now it's 6-6, but the Oilers in the lead, 1-0 with Draisaitl and McDavid working together, as been Bouchard joined the group as well. But a big goal by Draisaitl coming in from that left side with a power play goal.
McDavid now a 7-game point streak against the Wild. Dating back the last couple of years, Oilers clear out the center off the draw. Still no Jake Middleton on the Wild bench. Foligno, red line left side, chisels it in. Ekholm is back, bothered by Johansson, so he shifted it around the boards. Corey Perry goes through his own slot. Bouchard taps out the center. Collision in the neutral zone. Hartman came up with the puck and Perry. Foligno found Hartman cutting through the right circle. Fire one from a tough angle. And Pickard's on top of it with Johansson nearby for Minnesota.
Yeah, Johansson was looking for the rebound coming off the goaltender. Unfortunately, there's none to be had, so both teams will get a chance to change their full contingent of 5 skaters on each side. 9:29 to go here in period number 1. 1-0 Edmonton. Draisaitl scoring his 21st goal of the season. McDavid with 25th assist, and Bouchard, a defenseman, assist number 15.
Each of those players, McDavid and Draisaitl, tied for the team lead in the Oilers with 39 points now, and that is the 200th assist for McDavid on a Draisaitl goal. Most assists on one teammate's goal in NHL history. The record, you probably guessed it, Wayne Gretzky. 364 times he set up Yari Curry. I guess the only question would have been which of Gretzky's teammates was that record held by. Zach Hyman for the Oilers. Deep in the offensive zone, got it to the left point. Nurse with a shot. It clangs to the cross corner. Gustafsson looks to his left as Kaprizov skips it around his glass, and that catches the netting and back down onto the ice. So 9:02 now to go in the first.
Well, attention to our season ticket members. Once again, we're going to reward you for listening all season long, so get ready to earn the Forever Reward points. Enter the code KIRILL. That's KIRILL to receive 100 points on your account. That offer will end at midnight tomorrow. And Mike Russo of The Athletic on as our guest after the first period tonight. Lots going on in the National Hockey League. And he certainly has his ear to everything that's happening around the league, that's for sure.
He does know there's a time limit, though, with the intermission interviews, right? Spurgeon to a loose puck, took a heavy hit there. He was in a prone position. Hyman flattened him, but Wild captain absorbed that well, and Boldy's able to get it out to center, where he gave it away. McDavid in the slot for a wrister by Nugent Hopkins. Sticked away by Gustafsson. Edmonton turns a puck over now. Kaprizov stealing an errant McDavid pass. Real Kaprizov hits the offensive blue line, curled back. His pass knuckled out the center. Bouchard there, really good job to pressure Kaprizov, Tom, and not give him any free ice.
Yeah, Bouchard's done a tremendous job with his hockey of the ball. So he's not a big guy. When you look at his height, obviously he's got a little bit of height there, 6'3", but just 192 pounds as a defenseman out of Oakville, Ontario, and 20 points in the 28 games coming in this one. He picked up another point that now gives him one more with 21 points on the year. But boy, he plays a lot of ice time also, over almost 24 minutes per game.
Off the draw, the Wild have it in the neutral zone. Bogosian flutters it in. Kulak back. Squeezed it past the pressure of Johansson. Foligno went crashing along the boards. Hartman able to help out. The Wild here hit on the forecheck, causing some havoc. Marcus Johansson, the left point for John Merrill. Merrill weaves it back in the net. Hartman found Foligno for a shot. What a save by Pickard. He didn't locate it right away, but he made the stop. Now Hartman on a wraparound, and Pickard makes the save.
Well, Minnesota, as I said, started to pick up the pace a little bit more so than they did at the beginning. I think a little bit giving too much credit to Edmonton. Edmonton's been very good, obviously. These two teams have been, as I said before, this is game number 105. And when you look at Minnesota's record in St. Paul here, 51 games, they've gone 33-15-3 in favor of the Wild.
That play up against the short side post. There was some room there, some daylight for Foligno. Give Pickard credit. Came over and made the stop. Draisaitl just lost his helmet off the faceoff, so he's got to go to the bench. The Wild then uncork a shot wide as Hartman's one-timer hit the end wall. Marcus Johansson now. From low to high, it's John Merrill. Pushing it back to Johansson up near the blue line. Handed off to Bogosian. Bogosian right circle with a shot to the back post. Nobody home. Johansson keeps in. He'll find Hartman. Johansson to activate. He was back at the blue line originally. Now it comes into the left wing corner for Marcus Foligno. He's stripped by Kulak, but Hartman hustles to the loose puck. Gets it to the point. Bogosian a shot. Pickard looked around, but it's in his gear. And he's able to hang on.
Yeah, nice play by Hartman off the boards. Right back to the big defenseman. Bogosian with that long, hard slap shot of his. Goes right to the Pickard. He's able to take that in the midsection. Hauling it down, and that'll get a face-off to his left. 7:24 to go here in period number 1. Shots 10-7 in favor of Minnesota right now, but they trail 1-0.
Tom, you said at the last TV timeout when we came back from break, you felt the Wild were finding their game a little bit here. Is it just a case of moving their feet? What are you seeing?
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now. They're a little bit slow at the beginning. I think they were very apprehensive going against Edmonton. You know you're playing against, all you hear about is Draisaitl, and you hear about McDavid, and you know you're going to play against them, so you're a little bit cautious, especially at the beginning.
Here's Kaprizov with a long shot. Kaprizov had a goal Tuesday in Utah. Team leader in that category is Freddie Gaudreau has a dump down blocked. It kicks out the center at Janmark through the neutral zone, nearly lost it. Jeff Skinner follows it up. Skinner spinning at the blue line, rockets one in. Faber to gather and play it to Gaudreau. The other part of losing Jake Middleton in this hockey game is obviously it's a big loss for as good as he's been, both offensively and defensively. But they lost him so early, Tom, that you're down to 5 defensemen if he can't return for basically the entire game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And when you get an injury like that, especially early on, you have to look at what position you're losing somebody. You know, you've got 4 forward lines, you've got 12 people there, but you only have 6 defensemen. You lose one now, you really have to juggle things back there.
Gustafsson with a little bit of miscommunication, a rolling puck near the side of the net. Kind of pinballing around, the Wild keep it out. Comes to the point. Bouchard a drive. Hit some skates in front. Well, Gustafsson back there on a goalie handle. Wasn't a clean one, and the Wild had a bit of trouble thereafter. Here's a loose puck in the slot. Spurgeon tapped it back. Jones threw one in front, and Pickard, very active with his goal stick, nudged it away.
Well, nice play by Jones, though, getting the puck right to the front of the net.
Connor Brown pitches one deep into the Wild zone. Derek Ryan out of Spokane, Washington, pins up Minnesota's John Merrill. Oilers working to the point. Kulak over to Nurse for a drive, and that's in the glove of Philip Gustafsson.
I'm amazed. Gus can see that puck coming in. He's got all those people in front of him, yet he catches it, so good for him.
5:54 left in period number 1. The Wild trail the Oilers 1-0 here at home. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
This is Ryan Hartman of the Minnesota Wild. And I'm Kirill Kaprizov. Here's what's coming up this week in Wild Hockey.
The homestand continues this weekend with back-to-back games in St. Paul. Saturday, the Flyers are in town for a 12:45 start time. Then Sunday, it's the Vegas Golden Knights here at 4:45. The rest of the homestand includes Florida and Utah next week.
Never miss a second of Wild Hockey. It's always available each night, exclusively on the Minnesota Wild Radio Network.
Let's rodeo at the Cinch World's Toughest Rodeo, January 31st and February 1st at XL Energy Center. It's rodeo and a whole lot more. Come early for autographs, pony rides, and more. See more action, the best entertainment, and be part of the fun. It's too great to wait. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. It's wild, it's western, it's pro rodeo at the Cinch World's Toughest Rodeo, January 31st and February 1st.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Well, 5:54 to go here, period number 1. Shots right now, 11-10 in favor of Minnesota. But it's a 1-0 lead for the Edmonton Oilers. Face-off is going to be deep in the Minnesota zone to the left of the man they call Gus, Philip Gustafsson. He's set to go. Everyone's ready for the dropping of the puck.
Rossi and Nugent Hopkins on the face-off after McDavid was thrown from the draw. The Wild forces puck out to center. Rossi follows it up in the neutral zone. Couldn't come through cleanly. Faber hustles along. And he'll win the battle against McDavid. Scooping it rink wide for Spurgeon, who reached out, grabbed that pass, and rifles it in. Bouchard around his end wall. Ekholm kept it coming left wing boards. Nugent Hopkins. Third all-time in Oilers games played, behind only Kevin Lowe and Ryan Smith. Wild steal, and they race in. Boldy tries to fire one. It deflects to the corner. Kaprizov wanted to jab it in front. Stolen by McDavid. Lofted along for Bouchard. Rossi pressures him immediately. Hyman able to get it up and just out to center ice, where Boldy bothers McDavid on the backside pressure. It comes to Matthias Ekholm. Ekholm spinning one that hits some skates. Bouchard grabbed it, danced past Rossi, set one down low, and the Wild steer that away from trouble. But McDavid takes it away from Kaprizov. Down low, Nugent Hopkins trying to twist in front. And a poke check by Gustafsson kept him at bay. The Wild get it up, not out. Hyman lays it down low. Faber around his end wall, right side Boldy. A blind pass, and it's stolen. Cutting through the slot is Podkolzin. Up top, Kulak a drive, and that's in the equipment of Philip Gustafsson.
Yeah, a little bit of a tough period for Boldy, no question about it. Just gave the puck away there without really looking where he's going to go with it. Made a blind pass, it was intercepted, and with that, an opportunity for the Edmonton Oilers. Well, there's no better gift than the gift of Wild Hockey. Join us on December the 23rd for a Central Division collision against the Chicago Blackhawks. Don't miss this holiday clash. Buy tickets now at wild.com/hockey tickets. Always fun when the Blackhawks come to town.
4:40 left in the first. Hartman and Draisaitl on the draw. Hartman now thrown from the circle. Ryan Hartman had a 5-point game against Edmonton last year. He had 2 helpers against him in the opening matchup this season. In his career, 16 points in 19 games against the Oilers. Draisaitl here with a long wrister. With that glanced off Gustafsson with a lot of traffic in front. I'm not sure if he saw it cleanly. Kasperi Kapanen now. Off for Draisaitl as the game's only goal. He'll cut through the high slot, protecting the puck. Draisaitl. Johansson lost his stick, leaning on him, centering pass, and they score. Draisaitl put it right on the tape of Kasperi Kapanen, and it's 2-0 Edmonton.
Yeah, Kapanen just came in and just waited for that puck to come off the stick of Draisaitl. Had great speed. He went around. He was almost at the blue line, coming all the way back, going behind the net in a counterclockwise position, and just makes a perfect pass. And with that, Kasperi Kapanen, his 10th year now, his first with Edmonton, scores goal number 3 of the season for him. So the Oilers have taken a lead by a score of 2-0. On the 10 shots showing on the board right now.
4:20 left in the opening period, and the Oilers are in front by a pair. And boy, Draisaitl there, the power, the size, the reach, kept Johansson at bay. Johansson lost his stick, tried to stay with him, and again, once you start getting fixated on 29 and 97 in white, somebody's going to be open. And Kapanen was. So the Wild with some work to do. Minnesota lately hasn't scored a whole lot in the opening period. No goals the last 4 games in the first period for Minnesota. They started the year as a great first period team. Foligno off a giveaway deep in the Edmonton zone. Tries to center for Hartman. That was tipped away by Draisaitl. And he'll scoop it ahead, where it's grabbed and carried back by Darnell Nurse. Nurse punched it off his end wall. Kulak on his backhand, lost it. Goudreau, though, had to wait for Foligno to clear the zone, and the Oilers take it right back away. Kulak goes rink wide at his own right circle. Nurse launched it ahead. Intercepted by Minnesota. Lauko sends it in. Kulak back. He'll play a pass. It ricocheted free. Good stick check by Trenyon. Won a battle. Trenyon hands it to Lauko. He'll burst in left side. Jakub Lauko around the net of Pickard. He'll cycle it off to Trenyon. Try to center. It ricocheted free. Freddie Goudreau, though, got hooked. Couldn't get a shot free. It came back off for Lauko. And his shot deflected high and wide. And a penalty call.
Kasperi Kapanen, assisted by number 29, Leon Draisaitl, and number 92, Vasily Podkolzin. Time of the goal, 15:40.
So good work by that line, Tom.
Edmonton, number 53, 2 minutes for interference.
Well, it's good. They drew a penalty, and that's just because they were so expressive, I think, in that offensive zone, Joe. You watch, and when they're moving their feet, Minnesota does well. When they're standing around is when they start to get into problems. But right now, they just kept on working. That line did a great job of just staying with it, and interference call goes against Edmonton. Puts Minnesota on their first power play of this game, which they trailed by a score of 2-0.
So the power play, which hasn't been exactly at a torrid clip lately, needing to give the Wild some life here. Off the draw, Spurgeon Finds Kaprizov. Kaprizov attacks left side from the goal line. He'll toss it back up top. Spurgeon walks his way towards the top of the left circle. Into the corner, Kaprizov. Kaprizov trying to go across the grain. It ricochets up top. Foligno sweeps it the way of Boldy. Boldy, right wing hash marks offensive zone for the Wild man advantage. Down 2-0 late in the first. It comes to the point for Spurgeon. Saucered one looking for Rossi. Too hot to handle. Foligno checks his man in the corner. Rossi now hog-tied by Ekholm. And a logjam here to the right of Calvin Pickard deep in the Oilers zone. Puck chiseled free. Grabbing it is Spurgeon. They'll skate a few strides and find Boldy. Boldy a long shot to change direction. Pickard fought it off. Kaprizov to the rebound. His pass blocked by Henrique, the long-time pro. Boldy tries to dig it free. Will. Spurgeon feeds Rossi. Will attack towards the left circle. Cross ice pass Boldy. One touch it to Spurgeon. Back to Boldy. Fake the one-timer. Boldy at the right wing circle. Fired one and hit a body. Is grabbed by Rossi in the left wing corner and he'll survey. Marco Rossi to the high slot. Kaprizov behind the back pass. Boldy a drive. Blocked by Ekholm. 53 seconds to go in the power play. Great pressure here by Minnesota. Boldy refeeds Spurgeon. A knuckling puck will knock down with his glove and then toss it the way of Rossi. Rossi overskated for a moment. Regathers at the hash marks left side. Rossi cuts down below the goal line. Marco Rossi centering. Kaprizov fanned on his one-timer. And Ekholm to the loose change, able to chisel it down.
Yeah, nice play. You see Rossi making the play to number 97. Of course, Kaprizov took the shot. I'm not sure the puck may have been bouncing just a little bit with him, so he didn't get the good wood on that one.
Wild power play 20th in the league coming in. They were 0 for 2 Tuesday. Oilers PK is 26 at 73.1%. 20 seconds left on this opportunity. Firing one from long range was Hartman and never got through to Pickard. Johansson stabs it loose. Hartman able to grab it. Left circle Hartman. Sent it rink wide. Freddie Gaudreau off the right wing boards. Down to the goal line for Johansson. Again coming off that 3-point game. They'll find Faber at the blue line. Faber shot and they score! With the power play winding down, Brock Faber let one fly. Traffic in front, and the Wild get a big time goal late in the first. They trail the Oilers 2-1.
Yeah, and that's a huge goal right now, Joe. Had they given up another goal and gone to 3-0, boy, then you really have to battle back. But that goal by Faber does a great job. Once again, there's the wrist shot also. Just coming from the point position, finding its way. Pickard, I think he saw it coming in there, but he couldn't react to it fast enough. But nice play by Johansson also. Coming back towards Faber, makes a pass right, tape to tape. There's the target. Take the shot. Faber does that. And nice wrist shot. He beats the goaltender with that. It's 2-1 Edmonton. This goal coming in 1:11 remaining in period number 1.
Faber's 4th of the year, his 15th point. Gaudreau had a good net front screen. Hartman was in the high slot. That's how the coaches so often talk about layers in front of the net. Can't just be one guy sometimes taking away the goaltender's eyes. So a neutralized face-off here after the Wild get on the board. And a big power play goal late in the first by Minnesota, giving them some life. Boldy steals on the forecheck right side, ripped it into the corner. Ekholm's there. He'll sky it along. Final minute now of the first. Oilers turn it over at center. Boldy pushing the pace. Hope for Kaprizov. It was a touch too far. Draisaitl back. Reverses to Ekholm. He lost it. Turning it over to Faber for a shot blocked out in front. And it trickled wide. Draisaitl now thrown down to the ice. And a penalty call. It's going to be on Boldy. And he's already losing his mind. I mean, Draisaitl's one of the biggest, strongest players in the league, and he just went down with a lot of ease.
Minnesota, number 12, 2 minutes for holding.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Boldy doesn't feel very good right now, sitting in that penalty box for the second time in this hockey game. And, of course, the power play goal was scored was in the box earlier on that tripping call against him. Well, Minnesota's been so good all year long, Joe, staying out of the box, but all of a sudden here they go again, and it's just a steady stream. And you can't do that. You're without a defenseman already, one of your top defensemen out there. Middleton has not been returned yet.
John Hines said that yesterday he went through the last 5 games, every penalty kill situation in the Wild, trying to break it all down, make some sense of it. We talked about the details that are lacking for Minnesota. Here's Draisaitl off the one faceoff. Up top, Bouchard, a blast, whistled it wide. Nugent Hopkins to the carom. Hill twisted to Bouchard at center point. Back to Nugent-Hopkins left circle. Dancing down low. 25 to go in the frame. Nugent-Hopkins a shot. Gustafsson the save. It's loose in the blue paint. And Gustafsson able to throw his glove on top of it and get a whistle here with 22.7 seconds left in the first.
Yeah, that shot coming from the right of Gus. When we were out watching, you could see that puck in the blue paint area from our angle here. And all of a sudden, Gus was quick enough to be able to throw his big glove down on top of it. Good play by Nugent-Hopkins. Also, a little spin there before he got to the front of the net. Minnesota defense trying to box everybody out.
Oilers win another draw. Nugent-Hopkins down low. Hyman back to Nugent-Hopkins. Cross-ice pass to Flex, and it will just get out the center. 10 seconds left. A reset for McDavid. He'll try to get the Jets going. Cut past Lauko through the slot. Able to leave it back. Draisaitl down low. McDavid. A cross-ice pass. 2 out the handle for Nugent-Hopkins, and that is going to take us to the first intermission.
Well, I think Minnesota has to do a little adjustment in that dressing room to see if they can make things a little bit more offensive-minded on their side. Right now, the shots, though, have Edmonton with 10, Minnesota with 11, but it's going to be a one-goal lead in the lead by Edmonton over Minnesota.
So the Wild down a goal after 20. It's 2-1 Oilers. And we'll take a break here in St. Paul. Much more after this. Stick around. The Wild down a goal after 1. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Sports Grid Radio on Sirius XM has you covered this college football season.
A rivalry that dates all the way back to 1930 is renewed on Saturday. It's Army versus Navy. The midshipmen lead the all-time series, but it's the Black Knights who have won the last 2 and find themselves as 4.5-point favorites this weekend. Make sure you tune in to Sports Grid Radio to stay up to date on all the latest.
The place to get the winning edge over the sports books this football season is Sports Grid Radio, channel 159 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
Alex Ovechkin!
The NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on demand with the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
To understand that you are allowed to legally still check the head, not just the head. The head by itself is a penalty. If you wanted to change it, that would be like in the IIHF. That's probably a penalty at the Olympics. That's probably at the World Juniors. That guy's gone and suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Hockey. 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
The only 2 players in the history of the National Hockey League to have 600 goals, 1,600 points, 3 Stanley Cups, and 2 Conn Smythes. Wayne and Sid. Just it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Under review.
Avalanche goaltending sucks. There's no other way around it. They have the worst team save percentage in the National Hockey League. Oh, sure, they can score goals, but they can't prevent them. And this is why I don't take the Avalanche seriously as a Stanley Cup contender, no matter how top-heavy they are with future Hall of Famers. Their goaltending's bad.
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favorite Sirius XM FC shows on the all-new Sirius XM app, now available for all subscribers.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate. Weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Well, back here in St. Paul, at the end of the first period, Edmonton leads by a score of 2-1 over the Minnesota Wild, the home team. And Edmonton had the first 2 goals of this hockey game. Minnesota comes back to score a power play goal to make it 2-1 as they head to the locker room. I'm Tom Reed, pleased to be joined with Michael Russo of The Athletic. And Michael, I know that I can slow down if you have to keep on texting.
Yeah.
You done?
Just trying to figure out what they're going to do. Last time I did this with you, remember we were in Pittsburgh many years ago, 2015, in January. And I said to you, the Wild need a goalie now. And the next day we got to Buffalo and they traded for Devin Dubnyk.
That's right.
And I'm telling you right now, the Wild are going to need a left shot D tomorrow.
And, yeah, you're right. And, in that first game with Dubé, he won 7-0 in Buffalo.
Yep, exactly. And the rest is history. I guess I can say this now. I went out to dinner with Mike Yeo the night before. Mike didn't think he was lasting that trip. Let's put it that way. And Devin saved his job.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about this game. Obviously, at the beginning, Minnesota had a very slow start. Almost like they had too much respect for the Edmonton team, who came out with guns a-flying.
Yeah, but like Jake Middleton's injury wreaked havoc with that. You're coming into this game like John Hines showed on that first shift. He was going to go top line, top pair against the top line of Edmonton, and then first shift, Middleton injures his hand, and now everything's a mess. You got Bogosian playing left side. You got Spurgeon playing left side. You got John Merrill playing first pair. It was just, it was a total mess, and it changed everything. They're already without Brodin, going to have issues getting out of their own zone. The Wild were sloppy that period because of it. So I really pin it all on the Middleton injury. It just changed everything, and the fact that he didn't come back from getting hit on the hand by the hardest shooting defenseman in the National Hockey League, who broke Murat Husandinov's foot 3 weeks ago, is a problem. I was just looking at NHL.com/edge. Bouchard now has the most 90-plus mile-per-hour shots in the NHL this season. This guy can hammer the puck, and he hit him right on the back of the hand. And if he's out for a while, I know Brodin's coming back, but I've been saying for the last couple weeks, since they traded Damon Hunt, that if Cameron Crotty is your next, who's a right shot defenseman, is your next option no matter what, you got to get a left shot D in this organization, even if it's a two-way guy that you can throw in Iowa that you can call up. Because Carson Lambos, I hear, is playing better now, but I don't think they think he's ready. And if that's the case, I just wonder if Middleton's out tomorrow, if they're going to have to grab a left shot D either via trade, or maybe you don't let one get on the plane today. The Edmonton Oilers put Travis Dermott on waivers today. Left shot D. He's played 359 games in the NHL. I don't know if he fits perfectly defensively. I don't know what the Wild think of him, but he'd be a league minimum guy that you can, if he, maybe get on waivers tomorrow. Now, the Wild would have, because they have the best record in the NHL, the 32nd chance at him. So I don't even know if he would get to him if somebody's going to take him. I was curious today. Dakota Mermis was on waivers. If the Wild would have, maybe they put in a claim for him to begin with. But Utah obviously has a much worse record than the Wild, so we'll never know if the Wild put in a claim in on him. But I think that they're going to have to do something, because this is not good.
Do I get to talk now?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I know you're just coming back from the, Mike, and I've said this before, I don't think anybody works harder than you to find stuff out. And, of course, the GMs just had their meeting in Florida. I know a lot of things are happening down there. Can you give us something that you have learned about?
Yeah, it was the Board of Governors, so it was a lot of, like, Craig Leopold. Bill Guerin did go because he's president of Hockey Ops, and he's an alternate governor of this team. I was just talking to Ryan Smith and Chris Armstrong, the president of the Utah Hockey Club, the other day. They had just literally landed at 6 p.m. from coming back from Florida. The big thing is the cap. Right now they have the 5% escalator, so the cap is going to be around $92.5 million next year. But Gary Bettman has made it extremely clear multiple times now publicly that they are going to start to work on a new collective bargaining agreement with the Players Association. And there's not as many issues, thankfully, that they've had in years past, and they think that they could breeze through this. And they're talking like, can we get this done by his State of the Union address, which is Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. If that happens, there's a way to do a phase-in period where you essentially rip up the cap, and now you work on the next CBA and their cap projections. And if that's the case, this would be good for the Wild. The cap is going to go up significantly next year, significantly the year after, which is when Wild fans care, because that's when Kirill Kaprizov's contract's up. And so that's the biggest thing, is right now they have to say publicly the cap is $92.5 million next year, but this thing could go really high. Revenue projections in this league right now are north of $7 billion, and the more that keeps on going up with a 50-50 split, clearly the cap is going to go up significantly as well now that the players have paid back the owners from their COVID, debt. So that to me is the most interesting thing right now. What's going to happen? The cap was, big news down there.
Well, this is the last year also that you have got the Parisian Suter debacle that certainly has hurt this team over the last few years. There's no question about it. And I think will free up a lot of space for Billy Guerin and his staff to make wise decisions with key players.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've got significant decisions to make. Marco Rossi's an RFA. He's got no ARB rights. But I think that they're going to want to, figure out something with him, either bridge him or, sign him long term. He's certainly earned that. By the way, Middleton will not return to tonight's game, so that is not a good thing.
No.
Really unfortunate news there.
An injury is part of the game, but it's who you lose.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the guys they've lost.
And Jake Middleton has been stupendous this year.
Plus 22. He's NHL.
And he has just been, he's coming off, a Utah game where I thought he was sensational. He had 2 mistakes, I remember, in the game, and he recovered on both of them, and the rest of the game he played in the offensive zone with Faber. He was just sensational, and he's just been unreal this year, and it's a big reason his bounce back. Not that he was terrible last year, but he's certainly been much, much better, and so this is a significant injury.
Yeah, you're right, and of course Faber and he have worked so well together.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you disrupt everything.
Yeah, you're totally right. John Merrill was playing top pair with Faber that period. Jared Spurgeon was playing left D that period with Faber.
Well, you got to mix and match.
Yeah.
You just do the best you can with what you have.
Exactly. When you look at
the Wild, that looked like they had a slow start. I thought Edmonton was flying. They came out with guns a-blazing on that first little bit, and the guy got going. That last goal by Minnesota to make it 2-0 game was a huge goal for Minnesota.
No way Picard saw that puck with Goudreau, and I think it was Hartman screening him. No chance he saw it. And so that's good. A huge goal. They got to kill this penalty off. As you know, Tom, their penalty kill has not been good. And they got 117 here of a dynamic power play that they're going to have to contend with. But it's just, this team just continues to defy odds all year long. They've continued to play tremendous hockey, and no matter who's out of their lineup. And the good news is that Brodin skated today, Zuccarello skated today. They're not going to have a full practice almost certainly tomorrow, but they'll be on the ice again. The one thing I hope is now that it's desperate times, if Middleton's out long term, do not rush Brodin back if he is not ready. It is imperative that they get him right. And if for a guy that hasn't had a full practice now for a while, that is dealing with a significant injury, you don't want to rush him back just because of this Middleton injury. So, again, even if Broads is on the horizon back, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, I just think they're going to have to pick up some sort of lefty tomorrow, whether it's off waivers or trade, just to get that guy in the organization. Because right now, your next, after trading Damon Hunt, your next option is Cameron Crotty. He's a right shot guy that's played one NHL game. In the minors, Jack Peart's barely played and Carson's young. So we'll see.
I'd like to talk to you more, but we don't have much time before the break once again. But
you'd rather talk with Fondless?
Who wouldn't rather talk to me? I'm a great guy. Just ask me.
Well, you're on right now.
Thank you, Michael, for joining us. We'll get you a gift certificate down to Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub, where you can speak without breaks as long as you want. You don't even have to take a breath if you don't want to. Regardless, the Wild trail the Oilers 2-1 after one. Full recap is next. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
As the official partner of the Minnesota Wild, Enterprise is ready to go that extra mile. We're dedicated to the most dedicated fans in the game. And with us on your team, you can move forward with confidence, knowing we've got your back. We're always available with mobility solutions, whether you need a rental, replacement, truck, or even tailored business strategies. At Enterprise, your goal is our goal, and we're ready with the assist.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care, like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Wild Hockey's on the ice this winter, and we've got a spot saved for you at XL Energy Center.
Ripping a shot. He scores! Brock Faber from long range. change.
And there's nothing more Minnesotan than wild hockey and a pair of choppers. Secure both with the Wild Winter Bundle. For every Wild ticket purchase, receive a pair of choppers. Only through this exclusive offer.
Spurgeon a shot. He scores!
Learn more at wild.com/WWB.
So, after you lift weights, your body keeps burning calories for hours post-workout. Oh, like a BMO Savings Builder account. What? With BMO, I can get a reward every month I save. So, you're getting an extra reward for the work you've already done? Exactly. Plus, BMO gave me a cash bonus when I opened a checking account. That's a flex. This is a flex. Check out these pythons.
Pump up your savings with BMO. Conditions apply. Learn more at BMO.com/kickstart. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
BMO.
Wild trail the Oilers 2-1, and even worse news, Jake Middleton out with an upper body injury, will not return. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
The biggest plays on the ice.
He's up ahead, Pacioretty to the net. Backhand score! What a move!
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Brock Faber on the power play put the Wild on the board late in the first period, but they're down 2-1 after one. We're back with period 2 next. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
At CHS, we know what it takes to feed and fuel the world, to integrate a global ag and energy supply chain, to advocate for farmers in their fields and around the world, to build communities, invest in rural America, and empower rural economies. It takes courage, conviction, commitment. It takes the nation's leading farmer-owned cooperative. It takes a co-op. It takes CHS.
At the Home Depot, we know the world is a messy place. Keeping it clean takes science. That's why businesses everywhere have long trusted cleaning products from Ecolab to take on the toughest messes. And now, that level of clean is available for your home. Introducing Ecolab Scientific Clean, a full line of professional-grade cleaning products for all your home's needs, so you can clean like you mean business. Now available exclusively at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
We are gathered here to... what's with the blanket?
Oh, it's my Securian blanket. It's an unsubtle metaphor for the security I feel knowing I have smart insurance and retirement solutions from Securian Financial.
I see. And, sir, do you also trust Securian Financial with your insurance and retirement solutions?
I do.
Prepare for your future. Talk to your employer, affinity group, or a financial professional to get started. Learn more at Securian.com.
Insurance issued by subsidiary companies. Securian Financial Services. Member FINRA.
Hey, Wild fans, Minnesota-based and family-owned Old Dutch Foods has been creating taste sensations for generations of hometown Wild fans for over 90 years. Stock up on your favorite Old Dutch game day snacks at your local grocery stores to make game day a win. Old Dutch is a proud supporter of Wild hockey. Let's go Wild.
Old Dutch potato chips. Old Dutch the snappy chips.
Old Dutch, quality lives here.
Old Dutch potato chips.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care. Like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, save my spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
As a business leader, every day brings countless decisions. Some big, some small, some easy, and some you need to sleep on. Work with a banker who gets you, gets your business, and can help you make the right decisions to meet your goals. So you're not just navigating between choices, you're planning your success. Work with Bremer Bank, because understanding is everything. Put us to work for you today at bremer.com.
For for the second period. The Wild trail the Oilers 2-1. Edmonton starts on a power play, standing at 1 minute and 17 seconds. Well, Tom, we obviously know now Jake Middleton won't return for this hockey game, and knowing his toughness, that probably means it's not something minor. With that said, how the Wild survive the rest of this game and then look ahead.
You know, your defenseman out there, and all of a sudden, what's going on is that you don't have a defense. Now you got to move everything around. You got to shuffle everything. It makes it a lot more difficult.
And for a penalty kill, which have been struggling, Middleton obviously a big part of that. We're underway in the second. Wild from left to right on your radio dial. Oilers from right to left. McDavid left circle offensive zone. Curls back. He'll feed Bouchard. Back to McDavid. Trying to rush in. Had his pocket picked by Marat Husnudinov. And he'll backhand it down from center ice. Trenyon all the way up ice, causing some havoc. And we have a penalty call. I don't think Trenyon touched the puck. Who's this on?
Well, it doesn't look like it's on Minnesota. I hope I'm right.
Edmonton 2. 2 minutes for holding the stick.
So that's the second penalty that Trenyon has drawn. And this time, Tom, he's shorthanded all by himself. And 2 Oilers players back there, and Edmonton takes a penalty.
Yeah, and that's certainly not what they're looking for. Of course, it's their star defenseman back there getting the call on this one, too. But just grab on the stick. The referee caught it, but it's Evan Bouchard going to the penalty box. This will open things up a little bit, be a 4-on-4. This penalty coming at 36 seconds of the second period.
And the Wild haven't scored a 4-on-4 goal yet this season. They haven't allowed one either. Oilers have tallied 3 and allowed none. Back for a loose puck is Declan Chisholm. He'll take it from his goaltender, Philip Gustafson. Again, the Wild from left to right in the second. Faber now headmans. Ryan Hartman to charge him. Hartman around the net of Calvin Pickard. Leaned on. Throw it to the slot. Nobody there. Skinner finds Henrique. Drop back for Darnell Nurse. Nurse will find Skinner. Hands it back. The late help coming Kulak. They'll roll to the point. Henrique taps off for Nurse. 4-on-4 hockey here for another 8 seconds and a brief Wild power play. Nurse left side offensive zone. A shot that rose wide. As we near 90 seconds gone by in the second period, Boldy's out of the box. Wild have successfully killed it off, so to speak. And now Minnesota down 2-1 here in the second period on home ice. Looking for another power play goal. And hopefully able to get the equalizer here to tie this thing up. Kaprizov a full head of steam through the neutral zone. He'll find Boldy. Boldy stepped past some trouble. Left circle, lost the puck. Leans on Emberson then. Down along the end wall. Boldy fell kind of awkwardly as Kaprizov tries to join the scrum. It comes free for the Oilers, and they'll pry it ahead as Connor Brown floats it off. Emberson rushes up. A tip pass. Brown a shot. He scores. A short-handed goal from Connor Brown, and it's 3-1 Edmonton.
Yeah, Minnesota could not get back, and they gave up the puck right around the blue paint area, and that allowed Brown to come in there, and comes in from the side, and the quick release also takes a shot, and it's in the net, and Minnesota getting trapped just a little bbit too far in the offensive zone, and no one could get back in time, so he had plenty of time to take that shot. This goal coming at 1 minute and 55 seconds of the second period.
98th career goal for Connor Brown. And the third shorthanded goal the Wild have allowed this season. And that's a backbreaker. Oilers fling one down. 33 seconds left on the Wild power play as Johansson stumbles for a moment, nearly lost the puck. Now it's feathered free by Chisholm, hoping for Ryan Hartman. Comes up top, Johansson. Left circle, Faber threw one in front. Hartman went crashing down. And that puck skittered wide, kicked off the boards and back out the center.
Yeah, Hartman was going to the front of the net, hoping to get a rebound there.
Nugent Hopkins steals. Freddie Gaudreau, though, catches up to him with 5 to go in the power play for Minnesota.
Fourth of the season, assisted by number 13, Matthias Janmark, and number 49, Ty Emberson. Shorthanded goal, 155.
Johansson, offensive zone, right wing corners. We're back to 5-a-side hockey. He'll connect with Freddie Gaudreau. Now Johansson again. Johansson up near the blue line. A long shot tipped by Hartman. Stopped by Pickard. Rebound for Gaudreau. Will cut around the left wing corner, find Hartman. Pitched up top for Chisholm. Chisholm plays it to Faber. He'll rifle it around the wall. Hartman let it come up top for Kaprizov. Rink wide pass, Faber. Try to angle it down low. Wild player there, Rossi, dumped 20 feet from the puck.
Yeah, where's the penalty? That's interference.
And Pickard able to grab the loose change side of his net.
Well, no penalty being indicated by either of the referees in this hockey. And Chris Lee and Jake Brandt are the officials with the orange armband. Travis Garlitz and also Brian Pansich, the guys on the lines today. Faceoff is going to be deep in the Edmonton zone also. 16-32, and Edmonton with a 2-goal lead, 3-1.
Oilers emerge off the draw. Charging over the blue line was Kapanen. He'll flutter it down low. Now keeping it the point, Kulak over to Nurse. Tossed away of Draisaitl, trying to put Lauko in a blender as he cuts back. Wheels to the boards. Lauko trying to stay with him. Draisaitl protects the puck. Able to force it to Podkolzin back into the corner looking for Draisaitl. Kulak still deep in the offensive zone. Dug it free. Eventually Draisaitl to Nurse for a shot blocked in front by Merrill. Tossed off the boards. Kaprizov fights his way to center and rifles a pass back for Merrill, who just had to stash it away from pressure. And here's Minnesota's Zach Bogosian. Bogosian to Merrill. Flips a pass up ice and a good one. Kaprizov charging in on a one-on-one. Curled back, look for some late help. That feed deflected. Husnudinov able to grab it. And now Lauko floating a pass to the point to hit Podkolzin and kicks out to center. Shots are 14-13 Minnesota. They trail the Oilers 3-1 here at home. First of a 5-game homestand for the Wild. Oilers rocket this puck ahead. Kaprizov intercepts in the neutral zone. They'll try and feed Husnudinov, who taps it off the boards. And the Oilers dig it free. It is Connor McDavid. 28 points his last 14 games coming in. Starting to really get hot again is Connor McDavid. Zach Hyman charges in now for Edmonton. He'll cut down low. Behind the net of Philip Gustafsson. Found Ekholm for a drive. He punched it wide. And he'll skip off the boards and all the way back down into Edmonton ice.
Yeah, let's give Minnesota get a change out here, and the long change as well in this second period.
Hartman, Boldy, Foligno for Minnesota. As the Oilers force it to Ekholm, he'll slide it in. Back is Foligno. Shifted it along for Chisholm. Nugent Hopkins hounding him. Declan Chisholm able to punch it free. At the point, Bouchard keeps in. Got it to McDavid. Foligno stayed with him on the cutback. Took the puck away to Foligno. But McDavid reached in and broke up Foligno's pass. Nugent Hopkins now for Edmonton. His feet hit a body. Foligno now able to muscle it ahead and chisel it into open ice. Hartman read it well. Ryan Hartman curls up left side. Look for Foligno coming late. A backhanded shot was blocked by Ekholm. Stretch pass by Ekholm. A touch too far for Hyman, and it's icing on Edmonton.
Well, Tom Reed's hotline is tonight after the second period, and it's never been easier to get involved. Simply text in your comment or questions to 64686. That's 64686. One random texter will win tickets to see the Wild and the Flyers on Saturday afternoon. That's a 1 p.m. start here in St. Paul.
All 5 Oilers players have been out there at least a minute here. Icing on Edmonton. A draw to the right of Pickard. Rossi, Johansson, and Kaprizov with Merrill and Spurgeon. McDavid pushed the draw off the boards. Oilers charge it down. Another icing call here on Edmonton. With 14-14 left in the second period. The shots are 14 aside. The Oilers lead the Wild 3-1.
Yeah, that goal by Minnesota, they initially gave it to Faber, but now they said that Gaudreau got a piece of it, and that'll be goal number 6 for him. Faber will pick up one of the assists, number 12, and Johansson will get the other assist. That's number 9 for him in the season. Face-off deep in the Edmonton zone right now.
Rossi McDavid on again. Rossi muscled it back. Left point Faber. D-to-D Spurgeon. Blue line right side, flexing it to Johansson. Tap back to Spurgeon, and a pass cross ice hit Johansson and ricocheted out the center. Oilers trying to hustle off on a change. Rossi squeezes it back in. Pickard out with his goal stick. Slapped it to Ekholm. Didn't get much on his clearing attempt. Johansson steals. Now Kaprizov outside the right circle through the high slot. Fired one. Hit the goalpost. Johansson to the point. Faber lifts it along, and Spurgeon giving it back to Faber. Brock Faber taking a look. Chiseled it free for Kaprizov. Past the pressure of Henrique. A long shot, this time muted in front by Ekholm, who takes it to his left and skies it ahead. Weber has to turn and chase the bouncing puck. With Henrique bearing in on him, now Jared Spurgeon for Minnesota. A good reverse around his end wall. Rossi had it, lost it. Janmark was in there on the pressure. And now Matthias Janmark, the former Detroit Red Wings draft pick, tries to work it deep into the Wild zone. Stolen by Minnesota, but given right back away. Turning with a shot with Skinner, that blocked by Spurgeon. Stetcher then dumped Kaprizov as he was trying to exit the zone. And the Wild take over now. Spurgeon just clearing ahead on his backhand. Rossi gloves it to his tape and rifles it in from center. 7+ minutes now gone by in the second. Deficit at 2 again for Minnesota. On the forecheck went Trenyon. Ran over Janmark in the process of trying to come up with that loose puck, but the Oilers are on it. And skating ahead through the neutral zone is Troy Stetcher. They'll play it into the Wild zone. Bogosian back to grab that rimmed-in puck. He'll send it left wing side. Lauko pinned it up along the boards. Gave it back to Bogosian. Corey Perry was there to bother him. Perry had 2 points against the Wild on November the 25th up in Edmonton. A goal and an assist. There's a long shot here by Edmonton. Has knocked away the goal stick of Gustafsson with no trouble there. And the Wild come ahead. Over the blue line comes Freddie Gaudreau. Try to force his way to the left wing side. Gaudreau had 3 points against the Oilers in the earlier meeting of the year. As the Wild won 5-3, Connor Brown now spins it in for Edmonton. They look to change on the fly as Gustafsson leaves it for John Merrill, who twisted it to Bogosian, slapped along Trenyon, try to step past some trouble. Draisaitl back, Yakov Trenyon leans on him. Draisaitl worked it free, now Ekholm. Speeding it off the boards and out to center, where Chisholm on a regroup finds Husnudinov. Murat Husnudinov. Back through the neutral zone, he'll just nudge it free to Brock Faber as the Wild reset. Either team have the edge here in the second, Tom?
I don't think so, to be honest with you. I think Minnesota's done a good job. Remember, they're short by one defenseman right now, and the guys really have to go back and forth from left side to right side. It makes it a little more difficult, but Minnesota's still working hard. Shots are 14 apiece right now.
Well, Brock Faber, 10th in the league in average time on ice coming in, is going to log a lot of those minutes, and Jared Spurgeon, who became the franchise leader all time in time on ice Tuesday in Utah, surpassing Mikko Koivu. We know he'll eat up some minutes as well for Minnesota. Chisholm hoping for Faber. It is nudged free by Devin Shore, the former Oiler. Able to free it up for Chisholm at his own left circle. Frisbeeing it along, hoping for Shore. And this puck deflected, so no icing. Back was Nurse. He fanned on his reverse. Kulak able to rescue it. Hyman now fires it ahead. Nurse cuts over the blue line, left it back. McDavid, he fumbled it away. Ends up in the Wild slot. Bogosian plucks it ahead off the boards, but Kaprizov wasn't ready for it. This is icing on Minnesota.
And that will bring the faceoff back deep in the Minnesota zone. Well, prepare to embrace the dark side with the Minnesota Wild on December the 18th for Star Wars Night. Your journey includes a game ticket to witness the Wild battle the Panthers and an exclusive Darth Faber item. The power is yours. Claim it now at wild.com/pack.
Rossi and McDavid on the draw. McDavid, the fourth fastest all time to 1,000 career points in NHL history. Took him less than 700 games to get there. Bogosian hounds him behind the Wild cage. McDavid protects, try to center, deflects back off the end boards. Nugent Hopkins now indirectly to the point, left side. Nurse swerved it along to Kulak, off to McDavid. McDavid finds Nurse for a long shot, and Gustafsson able to force that away from trouble. Kaprizov counters for the Wild, crossing the blue line, looking then for Rossi. Rossi ran into some trouble and turned it over. 2-on-1 for the Oilers. McDavid with Nugent Hopkins. Connor McDavid in left circle, waiting, shooting, glove saved by Gustafsson. Loose puck side of the cage, and Gustafsson able to hang on.
Well, Minnesota getting trapped in a couple of situations where they give the odd man rush in this hockey game, especially in the second period here, and that's one of the reasons because of the injury to the guy they need on the ice right now is Middleton, and unfortunately he will not return to this game.
10 minutes left in the second period, exactly halfway through regulation. The Wild trail the Oilers 3-1. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Get closer to exclusive talk, comedy, and entertainment on SiriusXM. Be part of the buzzworthy moments with Andy Cohen.
Kelly Clarkson, I do want to do a duet with you.
no-nonsense advice with Dr. Laura.
Is this advice that he asks you for? No. Then shut the hell up.
Unparalleled wit and A-list interviews with Conan O'Brien.
Billie Eilish.
How loud can you shout?
You haven't even heard it.
That's why I'm asking.
Don't miss an exclusive moment on Sirius XM.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
Alex Ovechkin!
The NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on demand with the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Ward Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, loose in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. Bull.
Well, as Joe said, exactly 10 minutes to go here in the second period, halfway through this hockey game, and the Oilers with a 2-goal lead right now, 3-1. Faceoff is going to be deep in the Minnesota zone.
Off the draw, McDavid stops behind the net of Gustafsson. Over to Draisaitl. Back to McDavid looking for Ekholm on the back post. Pass the touch too far. So after that TV timeout, Chris Knobloch goes Perry, McDavid, and Draisaitl. And Tom, we talk about it so much with Kaprizov and that engine as far as being able to recover and be double shifted. McDavid and Draisaitl the exact same way.
Absolutely, they are.
Bouchard at the point to Ekholm. A long shot to the back post, rattled wide. Draisaitl to Karam. Hartman trying to stay with him. Into the corner comes McDavid. McDavid feeds Draisaitl. Working with it. Now going back to McDavid. Firing shot. Gustafsson the save. Rebound poked away by Boldy. Foligno in the corner. Tied it up for a moment and then sailed it out of play.
Yeah, Foligno's going to go.
Number 17 for delay of game.
Oh, I was not quite sure, but Foligno was very slow going to the penalty box, so he will go there for the delay of game. Shooting it from his defensive zone into the stands, over top of the spectators. This penalty coming at 10 minutes and 58 seconds. So I said at the beginning, Joe, stay out of the penalty box, and they have not done a very good job of that in this game so far.
About the only saving grace is that McDavid and Draisaitl were out there for about 45 seconds, almost a minute actually, off that TV timeout. So they'll start on the bench for this power play. Only 2 games this year have the Wild been shorthanded more than 3 times. Point shot here fought off by Gustafsson. That came from Darnell Nurse. Puck shifted around the boards. Nurse reaching for it, but Lauko able to steer it out to center.
Well, Lauko is really playing well, and of course he missed a lot of games with that injury, but at the same time he gives you a little physical presence on the ice too.
November the 1st, the Wild were shorthanded 4 times in a game at home against Tampa Bay, which they won. About a week later in Anaheim, shorthanded a season-high 6 times. They won that one as well. Nurse at center point to Jeff Skinner. Left circle with a shot. Gustafsson a save. He punched the rebound away from trouble, and Bogosian will smash it off the right wing glass and all the way down.
Yeah, Bogosian back and forth. You're going from side to side here. Not quite sure exactly where you're going to wind up, depending on how the coach tells you what side he wants you on. It's really tough for some guys to also to play the opposite side.
Both teams change as we near a minute left on the Oilers' power players. McDavid at the blue line, forced to the left wing boards. He'll center. Hyman toss it off. Draisaitl a shot, kick save. Gustafsson rebound and a blocker stopped by Gustafsson on a knuckling second chance. And Trenyon dishes the rebound down.
Well, Gus has been good once again. He's facing a lot of high quality shots also.
Evan Bouchard now for the Oilers. Carries ahead from right to left on your radio dial. Left it back, McDavid. His right wing pass over the blue line found Draisaitl. Quick puck movement here by Edmonton. Eventually comes the way of Nugent Hopkins. And then McDavid To the blue line, Bouchard. Back to McDavid, left circle. Cross ice pass, a little errant. Bouchard stepped to it. He'll find McDavid. Cross ice for Draisaitl. He waved at it, missed, and Trenyon carries the Wild ahead shorthanded. Yakov Trenyon. 2 goals on the most recent road trip, his first 2 of the season in a Wild sweater. Oilers chuck it ahead. Draisaitl with 10 to go on the power play. Will jam on the brakes. Floating it back. McDavid coming late. Hands it to Bouchard. Back to Draisaitl. Right circle. Fired one in front. Shot stop. Rebound. They score. Nugent Hopkins. And it's 3 special teams goals for Edmonton. 2 on the power play. 1 shorthanded. It's 4-1 Oilers.
Yeah, and once again, Draisaitl knows where he has to go. But when you watch the star players on the opposition, you watch where they go. They're always looking to go where that puck is going to go, and that's what they're looking for right now. But that shot coming to the side there, and Minnesota not able to handle that one. And with that, the Oilers, who are the visitors, have taken the lead in this hockey game by a score of 4-1.
So Gustafsson has given up 4 goals in back-to-back starts. Not putting this on him by any stretch, but he had given up 2 goals or fewer in 15 of his 21 starts coming in. And it is a steep hill now for Minnesota.
Yeah, it really is. And, of course, when you look at Edmonton, I mean, they're getting production from different guys out here also, and that's what you're looking for. But right now, Minnesota's got to find a way to get the puck in the opposite end. It's really... The loss of Middleton is really hurting the hockey club right now.
First goal this month for Nugent Hopkins, 5th of the year. Oilers back on a loose puck. Connor Brown run into by Marco Ross. Merrill pinched in, slowing down Derek Ryan's clearing attempt.
For number 93, Ryan Nugent Hopkins, assisted by number 29, Leon Draisaitl, and number 2, Evan Bouchard. Time of the power play goal, 12:54.
Bouchard now 100 points in the calendar year, meaning in 2024, of course. As he's got a couple of points in this hockey game. Merrill off to Chisholm as the Wild regroup through center ice. A pass tipped in by Marcus Johansson. Out with his goal stick comes Pickard. They'll rotate it to Stetcher. It's hurried ahead. Yambar couldn't grab it in the neutral zone icing on the Oilers.
And that would bring the faceoff back deep in the Edmonton zone right now. They're in good control of this hockey, and they've outshot Minnesota 17-15, but Minnesota just hard to get on track. And when you lose a guy that early, as we talked about, Joe, the fact that really disrupts your entire team right now, and we got to find a way to replace Middleton, and that's going to be hard to do.
Tom, the Wild have now allowed on home ice 12 power play goals in 31 tries by the opposition. Off the face-off, Bogosian to Faber. Right side will bank it off the end wall. Winding up and whiffing on it was Husnudinov. He'll keep this puck in for a moment and then be forced out to center. Now Bogosian, a right-wing pass. Faber carries along, skied it towards the goal mouth, and Pickard on top of it just ahead of Devon Shore. 6 minutes left in the second. When we come back to St. Paul, the Wild trail the Oilers 4-1. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
So, after you lift weights, your body keeps burning calories for hours post-workout. Oh, like a BMO Savings Builder account. What? With BMO, I can get a reward every month I save. So, you're getting an extra reward for the work you've already done? Exactly. Plus, BMO gave me a cash bonus when I opened a checking account. That's a flex. This is a flex. Check out these pythons.
Pump up your savings with BMO. Conditions apply. Learn more at BMO.com/kickstart. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
BMO. Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Scoreboard update. Finals, the Maple Leafs edge the Ducks 3-2. The Penguins take out the Canadiens in Montreal. 9-2 was the final. Sidney Crosby, 3 apples. Brian Rust, a Hattie, and 4 points. Ricard Raquel, 4 points as well. And should mention the fact the Flyers beat the Red Wings 4-1. Scott Lawton, 4 goals in the victory. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Seguin lost it to Scheifele. Scheifele with 2-on-1. Scheifele scores!
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
to Joe and Tom.
Well, we got 6 minutes exactly to go here in the second period. Minnesota just 1 goal, but they've given up 4. And talk about the number of power play goals that the Edmonton Oilers have right now. And that's 2 of the 3 opportunities they've had with a man advantage. And this is not a team that you want to take penalties against, but Minnesota has taken a few.
Off the draw, the Wild send it to Bogosian for a slap shot. That glanced off Pickard's goal stick. Foligno finished this hit. Foligno entered this game with 100 hits on the button, leading the Wild in that category, of course, top 10 in the NHL. Boldy slashes one around the boards. You see Boldy with Hartman and Foligno here. Bogosian in favor for Minnesota. Boldy protects against Emberson. Janmark came over, took it away. And he'll carry the visiting Oilers ahead before finding Henrique, who's got a man left side. Skinner a shot. Walker save Gustafsson. Boy, again, the Wild don't give up much of the grade A variety or 5-on-5. And although the 5-on-5 damage hasn't been at the forefront for Edmonton, they've had some good looks. Kapanen carries ahead, flops it in. Gustafsson stopped it, sent it around his own net. Nobody there except for Kapanen, who tried to feed it in front. Minnesota able to steal and cruise it up the boards. Foligno got it out to center ice. Freddie Gaudreau races in. Gaudreau lost the puck to Bouchard. Now Draisaitl able just to get it through center. Or Gaudreau hands it back. Chisholm gains the red line, flops it in. Now with his goal stick, Kane Pickard. They'll find Ekholm. Ekholm to Podkolzin. Back to Ekholm. Once more Vasily Podkolzin, who's bothered by Lauko. He's able to nudge it around his own net. Bouchard right back around the boards. The Wild steal this puck. Edmonton a little sloppy here in its own zone. Lauko crisscrossing as he cut around the net. Turned and shot one in front. Pickard made the save. Bouchard bumped by Gaudreau. Puck comes up along the boards. Between the legs pass by Kapanen. Sends Podkolzin out through center. He'll find Bouchard. He's got a bit of a step. Left it back for Draisaitl. And he scored. I'm not sure how.
He missed on the shot and went up high, almost like a chip shot.
So Leon Draisaitl with 2 of the most funky goals against the Wild. One in November in Edmonton and one here now. We're going to look at the replay. It's like he double shot it. Oh, man, it hit his arm and gone in. So Bouchard left it back between the legs of Chisholm. I think he double hit that. He shot at Tom, and as it knuckled up, he incidentally caught it on the backhand part of his stick. But I've seen 5 looks and still can't really be sure.
I thought the puck, when it got to him, was kind of bouncing a little bit, and he took the shot, came up high, and it looked like it was going to go over the shoulder, the left shoulder of Gus, but Draisaitl may have hit that puck up high with that stick also.
Scoring for Edmonton. 21st goal of the season for number 29, Leon Draisaitl. Assisted by number 2, Evan Bouchard. And number 92, Vasily Podkolzin. Time of the goal, 15:54.
Here's Merrill to Johansson. And the Wild all of a sudden have given up 3 goals in this second period. Remember, they had 3 in Edmonton. So pull front of the Oilers in their building just a couple of weeks back. Darnell Nurse able to knock it free. Nugent Hopkins finds Zach Hyman. Hyman at the left circle in the offensive zone, back behind the net, wrapped up by Kaprizov, and a penalty call.
Oh, boy. 97's going to go to the box.
97, 2 minutes for hooking.
So a hooking call going against 97, of course, that being Kaprizov, and it comes at 60 minutes and 43 seconds.
One last look at it. Lauko tipped the pass initially, which is why Draisaitl whiffed, and as it deflected in the air, Draisaitl, with the backhand part of his stick blade, somehow got a chunk of it. I don't know if it was accidental or not. Either way, it went in the net, and it made it 5-1 Edmonton. Timeout on the ice. Wild down 4. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
You have a plan for your business and a vision for its future. So it's important to have a banking partner that works to understand all of your goals and what it will take to help you reach them. Work with a banker who is dedicated to listening first and providing insightful, personalized advice that's right for you and your business. Work with Bremer Bank, because understanding is everything. Put us to work for you today at bremer.com.
As the official partner of the Minnesota Wild, Enterprise is ready to go that extra mile. We're dedicated to the most dedicated fans in the game. And with us on your team, you can move forward with confidence, knowing we've got your back. We're always available with mobility solutions, whether you need a rental, replacement, truck, or even tailored business strategies. At Enterprise, your goal is our goal, and we're ready with the assist.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day, we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care, like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Now 3:17 to go here in period number 2, and it's a 5-1 lead for the visitor at Edmonton, and they're changing goals as we speak. We'll get them all to you when we have a chance.
Lauko charges up shorthanded after the Oilers nearly tucked home another power play goal. Lauko tries to feed one in front. Freddie Gaudreau hustles to the loose puck, banks it down deeper into the Edmonton end. And the Wild change up their PK. Minute 35 left on the penalty to Kaprizov. Bouchard drops it back. McDavid, full head of steam for Connor McDavid. He nearly lost at the blue line, fights to get it back. Sent it up top, Bouchard, pressured by Husnudinov, so he twists with the puck and then fed it along Draisaitl. Swooped it to Nugent Hopkins, hounded by Husnudinov, 2-on-1 for the Wild if they want it. They've got to hustle though. Husnudinov in, cross ice, Trenyon dance with the puck, Pickard made the save, rebound was knuckling around, and the Wild couldn't come up with it.
Well, good effort by Minnesota once again. Trenyon and Husnudinov doing a good job together in that offensive area.
Trenyon this time headmans off a steal. Husnudinov, a spin move, a backhanded shot as he was being knocked to the ice by McDavid, and that trickled wide.
Well, he's playing with more and more confidence also each and every game. You look at Husnudinov, when he's able to bring the table. Not a big guy, but boy, he's got some speed.
Foligno able to chip out the center. 2 minutes left in the second period. 40 seconds left on the Oilers' power play. They already have 2-man advantage tallies in this hockey game, plus a shorty. Henrique from the neutral zone slashes it in. Jones pinned up his man. Merrill to the loose puck, ratchets it down the ice. Pickard with his goal stick will just hand it along for Ekholm. Shots are 24-15 Oilers. If I'm seeing that correctly, Tom, that means the Wild credited with just one shot here in the second period, and that came just moments ago. Henrique to Ekholm, and it leaks out the center. We were talking about the Oilers so much, and their power play's been good that I didn't even really notice the Wild hadn't been credited with a shot.
No, neither did I.
Henrique now spins it behind the net. Out of the box is Kaprizov, a successful PK and a much-needed one for Minnesota. Jeff Skinner rolls it down low. It's sent to the point where Ekholm will just hack it down deeper into the offensive zone. Corey Perry steps past some trouble, feathers one up top, Nurse a shot, muted by Jones. It was caught up in his equipment. They'll stash it away from immediate trouble. Nurse at the blue line left side, angles it around the boards again. Spurgeon trying to tap out, couldn't. Perry behind the net of Gustafson, banked it off the back of the cage, regathers himself, looks for some help, then fired one off the outside of the netting. Jones took it away, lost it. Spurgeon blocked a centering pass. It comes to the point. Emberson a drive, and that hits Skinner, exploding his stick blade to the back wall as Kaprizov finds the puck with 25 to go in the period. Here is Kirill Kaprizov getting the Jets going. Kaprizov into the Oilers zone, fakes a shot around the net, try to roll it up the short side. Derek Ryan cut it off. Good keep by Chisholm at the left point. Angled along Johansson, cross ice pass, rocketed away from Kaprizov. 10 to go in the frame. Kaprizov somehow came out of the weeds here. Set one in the right wing corner. Rossi threw it in front, batted right back his direction. Off a couple of sticks in front. 3 seconds left in the period. Kaprizov pinned up. And that takes us to the second intermission.
Well, a tough period for Minnesota, no question about it. You look at the first 2 goals scored by Edmonton. Minnesota came back to make it a 2-1 game, but broke open in this third period, obviously, with 3 goals by Edmonton to give them that lead right now. 5-1 is ahead of the locker room for what could be the final 20 minutes of this contest.
So if it holds the way it looks now, the Oilers 3 goals in the second, the Wild just 1 shot in the second period. 5-1 Edmonton after 40 minutes. The Wild have only lost 1 game all season by 4 goals, and right now with 1 period left, their deficit at 4 here on home ice. We'll take a break. Much more after this. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
This one is surprising.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of Sirius XM.
North Carolina finalizing a deal to make Bill Belichick their next head coach.
Hear instant reaction on NFL radio.
The college game needs the help of someone like Bill Belichick. I don't want to sit here and say he's going to be the savior of college football, but someone has to be.
And expert analysis on college sports radio.
I think it's a great job. The resources are there. Carolina fans love football.
Live sports talk when you need it is on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders,
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air. The NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on demand with the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
To understand that you are allowed to legally still check the head, not just the head. The head by itself is a penalty. If you wanted to change it, that would be like in the IIHF. That's probably a penalty at the Olympics. That's probably at the World Juniors. That guy's gone and suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
The only 2 players in the history of the National Hockey League to have 600 goals, 1,600 points, 3 Stanley Cups, and 2 Conn Smythes. Wayne and Sid. Just like it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Under review.
Avalanche goaltending sucks. There's no other way around it. They have the worst team save percentage in the National Hockey League. Oh, sure, they can score goals, but they can't prevent them. And this is why I don't take the Avalanche seriously as a Stanley Cup contender, no matter how top-heavy they are with future Hall of Famers. Their goaltending's bad.
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Bray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favourite Sirius XM FC shows on the all-new Sirius XM app, now available for all subscribers.
It's time for Tom Reed's Hotline. Text in your comments or questions to 64686. You can win fabulous prizes, including dinner at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub or wild tickets to a future game. And now, Tom Reed's Hotline.
Get your questions in now. Text them 64686 on the line. A random winner is going to get a pair of tickets to see the Wild and Flyers Saturday afternoon in St. Paul. Pregame at 12:45 on most of these same stations. You can get tickets at wild.com/hockey tickets. We said coming into this one time, they had to figure out a way to limit Connor McDavid. They did that. He's only got 1 point on the night. Unfortunately, his teammate Leon Draisaitl, a goal and 3 assists. We still have a period to play. Wild trail 5-1 after 2 periods.
Yeah, well, it started early on. Also, Kevin, no doubt about it, when they lost Middleton, it just threw the whole team into turmoil. It really did. And even the forwards, even though they're not affected by what's happening at the blue line, they're still affected because of who you're playing with and what you're expecting out there. But the loss of him is a huge loss for Minnesota. But you have to play on. And Minnesota, after coming back, they've been on the road again. I think they're just tired. And, mentally, I think tired, physically tired. but they've been really good all season long. This is just one of those games that's not gone well for them. And, of course, we said at the beginning, stay out of the penalty box. They didn't do it. And a couple power play goals against them tonight.
Yep, and a shorty to boot. And if you are just joining us, the breaking news, not breaking anymore, well, maybe literally breaking, Jake Middleton blocked an Evan Bouchard shot on his first shift of the game and is listed as he will not return, dealing with an upper body injury, a huge blow to the lineup, as Tom mentioned. Let's get to some of the questions here from the 641 area code. Tom, how bad do the Wild need Jonas Brodin back in the lineup, especially considering what's going on here on the blue line?
Well, look, they've done pretty well with all the three main people that they really count on, that being Brodin. Of course, when you look at a guy like him, you want him. You got Eriksson out of the lineup. You got Zuccarello out of the lineup. But now you got another key guy out of the lineup. It looks like it could be for a while. We'll have to wait and see what the final report's going to be. But, at the same time, you got to keep on pushing ahead, and hopefully Minnesota can come out and have a little bit more of a offensive threat here in the third period.
From Mac in Rosemount, what do you think the next move is for the Wild? Do they call up David Jiricek from the Iowa Wild roster, or do you think there's something else looming out there? Should Jonas Brodin not be ready to go this weekend?
Well, he may not be ready. We just don't know when he's going to be ready, so we'll have to wait and see. But I think at the same time, I think Mike's right, Russo, you need a left-handed shot out there, and Middleton was that guy that they could use out there. But now all of a sudden you're throwing. Are you bringing someone up just to fill a space, or do you need to find somebody that can play the role in that space?
We were kind of joking about this. I think it was with you and Mike. The 651 area code says Tom Reed's probably not available, but could you go bring in an Alex Goligoski? He's not that far removed from an NHL lifestyle, but the guy hasn't played in a long time. I don't think he'd even be interested in it.
No, I don't think so either. When you're away from the game, he's been away for months now, so you can bet he's not in the best of shape. Yeah, it'd be hard to get from one side of the ice to the other, I think.
If Billy called, would you pick up the phone?
Absolutely, I would.
How much and when should I start?
And that would be the order.
From Dan in St. Louis Park, more difficult for a defenseman, Tom, changing defensive partners or having to play the other side of the ice?
I think it's a combination of both. So often we've seen the back and forth going to left side, right side, right side. It's difficult. If you're not used to it, it takes an awful lot, especially if you're on the offside. And you've got to be able to pull that puck off the boards and quickly because someone's coming at you. But it's a thing you have to learn just by practicing all the time. And you'll see the guys out here who are on the opposite side will have somebody bring the puck around the boards and just keep on working on that, trying to make it work for you. But you learn a lot just by doing the things like that in practice.
Let's go to this one from the 651 area code, a 20-year season ticket holder. Tom, in your opinion, how far away are the Wild from being a legit contender for a Stanley Cup title?
That's a hard question to answer because when you're missing your key players. I mean, you think you're going in the right direction, and Minnesota has been going in the right direction, and they've done pretty well for the most part without some of their key players. But you just have to. You have to stay away from the injuries, and I've said that time and time again. When you get the playoff picture, you want to make sure that you're healthy going into the playoffs, because if you got your key guys out of the lineup, the chance of you winning are not very good. So there's no timetable as to when. I mean, Minnesota's been here since the year 2000, haven't gotten to the finals yet.
Yeah.
They've gotten close, but no cigar as of yet. They got to the conference finals, but never won that one either.
Granted, I'm looking at it through green shaded glasses because of watching this team so closely for so long. It feels like they're trending in the right direction again. And I know that's saying a lot. You still have 2/3 of this season to go, but it feels like the way Kirill Kaprizov is going, you keep him on this roster, and then you get that money. You have a little bit of flexibility starting next year with the salary cap going up. It feels like the reins are finally going to come off Bill Guerin and company, and they can make this team a legit contender.
When you're talking to Russo a little bit earlier, he was saying that the cap should probably go up at least $5 million, maybe even more. They're not quite even sure right now until they put all the numbers together, and it's going to affect everybody. I think for the most part, the league is in very good shape right now. They just had their Board of Governors meetings in Florida, and some of the general managers were there as well, going over a number of items, and I think one of the things is the fact that Arizona's not involved anymore. That was a headache for a number of years. They just couldn't make it work. But now having the franchise now in Utah is a big plus and takes away a lot of the worries and time spent trying to fix one problem. And now they got one less problem. It was a big problem. But I think, with the numbers, I think Billy Guerin, especially losing the Parisi and Suter cap, is going to have something to work with next year.
You said you talked to Russo. Did you talk to him or did you listen to him?
Well, I listened to him. I think I asked 2 questions. I said, would you do it?
10-minute interview and he took a breath once.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But the thing with him, he gets it. I mean,
without a doubt.
Yeah, he's one
good.
of the hardest working guys that I've seen in sports. He has no life. That's the thing. That's the whole thing is just being hockey, and he's great at it.
He has no life, but no. It's fun to poke the bear too a little bit because you can get him going. Let's squeeze this one in from Doug in Plymouth. Here's a hypothetical for you, and I think we'd have 2 separate answers because we come from 2 different eras. If you could reach back in time and add any player in the history of the Minnesota North Stars and put him on the ice in his prime right now, right here, right today, which player would it be and why?
Probably Marion Gabbert. I mean, he was
former North Star. Did I say wild player? If you could reach back in time and bring any former North Star and put him back in prime on the ice right now, who would it be?
Oh boy, probably Neil Broughton.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Neil Broughton, I think, dynamite, great on the front end, and could get goals for you. Can skate, and I think he can still play today.
I don't know about that, but he was so much fun to watch. My answer was going to be Dino, because I really loved watching Dino as a young man. When I was a young man, watching him as a younger man.
He's a former. How about Mike McDonald?
I mean, McDonald's an easy one for sure. I thought you'd go back to, say, like one of your buddies, like Bill Goldsworthy.
Gump Worsley.
Gump Worsley, a Bill Goldsworthy. I'm surprised you didn't go further back in the annals.
Yeah. Well, I can go way back.
Yeah.
That is the problem. But I've seen a lot of guys over the years, and there's some guys just stick out in your mind as how good they are. But Neil Broughton was one of those guys, one of my favorites.
I should have said Tom Reed. That's the answer that I messed up on. Dino Cicerelli or Tom Reed. Those would be my answers. Thomas, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tom Reed with tonight's Hotline. Tom Reed's Hotline. We're giving away a pair of tickets to see the Wild and Flyers Saturday afternoon in St. Paul. That's right. A 1 o'clock puck drop. Pregame at 12:45 on most of these same stations. If you don't win and you want to go to the game, wild.com/hockey tickets. Wild trail the Oilers 5-1 after 2. We'll try to recap the carnage next. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
Hi, it's Jimmy Fallon, and I'm hopping channel to channel, spreading Christmas joy all over Sirius XM. Here are a variety of holiday mixes handpicked and hosted by me. These are holiday songs that span so many different genres. Yacht rock, country, pop, soul, disco, and many more. Jimmy Fallon's 12 Days of Christmas. Listen to my holiday mixes in the Sirius XM app. Search Jimmy Fallon.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
Alex Ovechkin!
The NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on demand with the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound Caulfield. Shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Well, Frank Gaudreau gave the Wild some hope late in the first when he scored on the power play. Faber and Johansson had the assist. That cut the lead to 2-1 in favor of the Oilers, but the Oil scored 3 times in the second. Brown, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Draisaitl all on the board. They got a shorty, a power play, and an even strength goal in the middle frame. They've opened it up to a 5-1 advantage over the Wild after 40 minutes of play. The third is next from St. Paul. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
Hey, Wild fans, fall weather is knocking on our doors, and you know what that means. Chilly days are just around the corner. That's why it's good to know the knowledgeable, friendly dealers at Bryant Heating and Cooling who will do whatever it takes to keep your furnace running efficiently no matter what the weather throws at you. Plus, score up to $2,600 in tax credits on qualifying Bryant systems. And ask about rebates and financing for qualified buyers. Find your local dealer at Bryant.com. Bryant, official heating and cooling company of the Minnesota Wild.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care, like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Happy holidays from the Jenny O Turkey team. At Jenny O Turkey, they believe the holidays are a time for gratitude and giving back. They've donated over 2,000 turkeys in partnership with the Minnesota Wild the week before Thanksgiving and gave over 20,000 turkeys to those in need this holiday season. It's their goal to ensure as many tables as possible are adorned with a delicious Jenny O Turkey. We hope this helps to inspire you to embrace the spirit of giving this holiday season. Jenny O Turkey, making it easy to eat well.
We are gathered here to... what's with the blanket?
Oh, it's my Securian blanket. It's an unsubtle metaphor for the security I feel knowing I have smart insurance and retirement solutions from Securian Financial.
I see. And, sir, do you also trust Securian Financial with your insurance and retirement solutions?
I do.
Prepare for your future. Talk to your employer, affinity group, or a financial professional to get started. Learn more at Securian.com.
Insurance issued by subsidiary companies. Securian Financial Services. Member FINRA.
Listen to Wild Hockey every night. In the Twin Cities, tune in to the flagship, FM 100.3 KFAN. If you're traveling across the state of hockey, find a station near you at wild.com/radio.
You can also use the official Minnesota Wild app.
And don't forget to bring your radio along and listen in arena without delay on 95.7.
From Warroad to Mankato and everywhere in between.
លisten to Wild Hockey exclusively on the Minnesota Wild Radio Network.
Jordan B. Peterson, We Who Wrestle with God Tour.
If you say the truth and nothing else, you'll have an immense adventure as a consequence. You won't know what's going to happen to you, but the truth will reveal the world the way it's intended to be revealed, and the consequence for you will be that you'll have the adventure of your life.
Live at XL Energy Center, January 27th. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
As we start the third period in St. Paul, it's Marc-Andre Fleury between the pipes for the Wild, who trail the Oilers 5-1. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed with you. So TR Philip Gustafson's night is over after 40 minutes.
Yeah, he had the win, if you remember, up in after giving that early goal in Edmonton. They won up with a win in that hockey game. But if you look at Marc-Andre Fleury, he's played against Edmonton 24 times. His record is 17-6-1 with a 2.42 goals in average and a couple of shutouts. But Marc-Andre Fleury is going to get the call right now. Fans are up and at him. Hopefully Minnesota can make something happen. But down by 4 goals going in the third period.
Wild from right to left on your radio dial. The Oilers from left to right. Edmonton hammers a puck in from the neutral zone off the draw. Kaprizov through his own slot to Faber. He'll smack it off the boards. And it's icing on Minnesota.
And the icing has not been very favorable to Minnesota in this game as well. They've won just 44% of the draws and leaving 56% to the team that's leading right now by a score of 5-1. Shots right now total are 27-20. favor of Edmonton.
Leon Draisaitl leading the Oilers with 4 points through the first 2 periods, a goal and 3 assists. Penalty call here coming on Edmonton. It's icing on Minnesota, but the penalty call at the same time. And
Ekholm's going to get the lead on this one, I believe, on the tripping call.
Edmonton, number 14, 2 minutes for tripping.
So Minnesota back on the power play. This penalty being called at 22 seconds of the third period.
Wild power play has their only marker here in this hockey game. Off the draw, it's Spurgeon across the blue line. Now Kaprizov left circle a shot. And Pickard the save.
Tripping minor, 22 seconds.
Yeah, good shot by 97 coming from that left point position. Tried to go top shelf on the corner, but Pickard's got some size to him also.
That's the 4th shot of the night for Kaprizov. Wild down 5-1. Foligno wins a battle. Try to send a pass back to the point that hits some skates and comes all the way into the zone of Marc-Andre Fleury, who sets it up for Jared Spurgeon. Fleury last played in Los Angeles on the road trip, stopped 30 of 32, lost that hockey game. It ended a 5-game winning streak for the future Hall of Famer. Foligno cuts around the Oilers' net. Pitched it to Rossi. Left wing corner offensive zone. Centered Kaprizov. Knuckled it along. It's Boldy. Grabbing it off the right wing wall. Curling with the puck. Dances down near the goal line before rotating it up top to Spurgeon. Tapped along Kaprizov. The real Kaprizov hounded immediately. Comes into the corner for Boldy. Back to Kaprizov. He's checked there. It's shuffled along the boards by Stetcher, and he'll get it through center ice.
Yeah, Edmonton very, very quick also, putting a lot of pressure on Minnesota, even though they're in the defensive zone.
Connor Brown from the neutral zone just got to an errant pass and drilled it on net. Fleury was way out at the hash marks, had to make a save. Kaprizov now off the rush with the wrister, stopped by Pickard. And the rebound lifted down. 47 seconds left on the Wild power play with 18:20 to go in regulation. Wild from right to left on your radio dial. Faber drops it back. Freddie Gaudreau finds Marcus Johansson. Johansson twisted it to Chisholm. He'll punch it down low. Kulak away from some trouble. Lost it. Hartman a hurried shot. That caught the glass. And it careens all the way back into the Wild zone. Fleury to Faber. Faber just squeezing it back into no man's land. And the Wild have to regroup. Crowd a little on edge here with the Wild down by 4 in the power play. Not connecting on that breakout. It's Gaudreau now to saucer it in. Freddie Gaudreau wins a battle. Dug it free. Spun it to the point. Chisholm attacks left circle. Declan Chisholm wheels it back to Faber. Power play about to expire. Faber a shot. Batted down in front and hacked down the ice by the Oilers PK just as Ekholm jumps out.
Well, a quick goal by Minnesota early on here in the third period will give them a little more life also and put some life back into this building.
Ben Jones over the blue line. Left it back for a drive by Lauko that missiled wide. Through center ice come the Oilers. Zach Hyman spins up and then just rolled it down behind the Wild cage. They adjusted the shots for Minnesota through both periods. Again, we were told coming in as Lauko tries to knife one down low. Bouchard stole it. He'll find McDavid, who bursts ahead. Connor McDavid into the Wild end. Peeled up right circle. Waits some more. Lifts it back for the late help. And Jones got his stick in that lane. It tips back into the Edmonton zone.
Yeah, good play by Jones. Stick down the ice. Just got a piece of it. It's going back to the defenseman.
So we're told pregame by the offense officials the shot clock wasn't going to work properly here tonight. They seemed to fix it in the first period. I seem to have forgotten about that because after the second, I said, wait, the Wild just had one shot. It didn't feel like they had one shot, but we come to find out they made a bunch of changes. 13 shots in the first for Minnesota, 7 in the second. 2-period total of 20 through 40 minutes on our score sheet. And I looked at the video board, Tom, they're at 19 now. So
they're moving up the ladder. I'd rather see the score change.
Yes, Connor Brown trying to center. Well played, sir. And now Trenyon. Crisscrossing with Devon Shore. Trenyon carries ahead for the Wild. Left circle deep in the Oilers zone. Looking for some help around the net of Pickard. Yakov Trenyon finds Bogosian coming late. He'll drive one off the goalpost. And carry him to John Merrill. Then to Rossi, up to Bogosian for another drive. It bounced free in front. Rossi hit the iron.
Oh, boy.
When it's not your night, it's not your night.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
As both Bogosian and Rossi adding some iron to their diet in about 10 seconds. It stays 5-1 Oilers as Stetcher comes along and muscles it in. Oilers flip one out towards the slot. It bounces free. Rossi picks it up. He'll carry ahead, looking for Kaprizov ahead of the pack. That deflects in, so no icing. Janmark back for Edmonton. On the breakout, bottled up by Rossi for a moment, so he pitched it back of his cage. Ekholm deals it off the boards. Faber keeps in. And now eventually Rossi right wing side. From low to high, Faber hurried shot. That's blocked by Jeff Skinner. He'll come all the way into the wild zone. Fleury way out to his right circle to just poke it off his end boards. Where Merrill goes rink wide onto the tape of Brock Faber. Faber lasers a pass ahead. Kaprizov over the blue line. High slot. Kaprizov dance free. Found Rossi. Tried to fire one in front. Kicked up top. Spurgeon a shot. Rebound for Kaprizov. Absolutely robbed by Pickard with his right pad.
Well, I thought Kaprizov had that when he shot it. Hit the goaltender. Unfortunately, Pickard was in the right place at the right time.
Skinner had mans. Draisaitl now. The Wild with all kinds of chances here in the third. Draisaitl absorbed hit from Spurgeon and then Rossi before forcing a pass to Emberson, who had a shot blocked from the right circle. It's twisted the point for Kulak's drive. That pinball around. Fleury got a chunk of it. Oilers are back on it. It's turned the way of Draisaitl. Filters it to the blue line. Emberson along wrister. Hit a body in front. Janmark then followed it up. And Fleury reached out with his right arm to keep that out. Nearing 6 minutes played in the third. Leon Draisaitl now for the Oilers. His pass hit a pair of skates. Podkolzin recovers it. Off to Draisaitl. Back through the slot. Nobody home. Grabbing it off the sideboards is Janmark. He'll cut up near the blue line before feeding Kulak, who overskated for a moment, and then tossed it the way of Draisaitl. Spins to the left of Fleury. Left one back. A wrist shot missiled high and wide, but it's kept in by Edmonton. Kulak to Draisaitl. Again, Rossi leans on him. Into the corner comes Podkolzin, floats a pass to the left point. Emberson worked it free for Kapanen. Kasperi Kapanen with a goal here tonight. He'll twist to the Draisaitl. Has a lane if he wants it. Waits a moment. Fired one. Kick save Fleury. And Johansson just golfs it down the ice. This is going to be icing on Minnesota and some tired Wild players out there.
Yeah, they really are tired. No question about it. They could not get possession of the puck in the defensive zone there. And Edmonton just having their way with Minnesota right now. You look at the shots on net right now, 27-19 showing for the Edmonton Oilers, who have a 4-goal lead, 5-1. Right now, the face-off on the icing call will be deep in the Minnesota zone. And you're right, Joe. Minnesota's defensemen, that contingent of 5 skaters there have to be a little bit tired. They're in their own zone for quite a while.
Zach Halverson, our engineer here in the Al Shaver press box, pointing out on the live stats that we get up here that Rossi's been out almost 3 minutes to this point, Tom. And the Oilers here win the draw. McDavid dances past Kaprizov for a moment. Played it to the point. Nurse slapped it along Stetcher, a long wrister. They score. Hit a body in front and beats Fleury. And the Oilers pin the Wild in their zone and make it 6-1.
Yeah, no chance at all for Fleury to get that one. That just hit something along the way and found its way into the net. The Nurse took a shot from the far side. I believe it was him. Anyway, it's in the net. Just hit someone and changed direction.
So the Oilers are 13 minutes and 5 seconds from a 4th consecutive victory. And you look around the Western Conference coming into this game, a couple of teams starting to roll a bit. Vegas winners of 3 straight coming in. Edmonton and Colorado also winners of 3 straight coming in. The Kings had won 6 in a row prior to play tonight. Some of the fans start to file for the exits here with the Wild down 6-1. They're just checking to make sure that puck didn't deflect in illegally. And they deem it a good goal. We're back to live action. Stetcher off the sideboards, right wing wall. Hyman picks it up, carries to the red line, and dumps it in. Bogosian back behind his own net. Over to Chisholm, launched the way of Boldy. Boldy at the red line, hustles it in. Hartman on the forecheck, deflected it loose, but it's grabbed by McDavid. Connor McDavid carrying through neutral ice, a little soft chip off the boards. Bogosian to pick it up for Minnesota. Through 2 periods, Bogosian had played 12 and a half minutes. Faber had played over 22 minutes for Minnesota. And Spurgeon was nearing 19 minutes in the first 2 periods.
Troy Stetcher, assisted by number 25, Darnell Nurse. and number 97, Connor McDavid. Time of the goal, 6:55.
And again, Jake Middleton injured on the first shift of this game, blocking an Evan Bouchard point shot. Middleton, just 37 seconds played in this hockey game, hasn't returned, will not return, is our understanding. Well, it's been a uphill battle almost the whole night for Minnesota.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good for the future either for Middleton right now, until we get the report. And they don't give us too much information, but they'll tell us if it's going to be day-to-day or long-term or week-to-week or month-to-month. We just don't know.
Faber in his right wing corner pressures Corey Perry. Now Gaudreau just able to roll it along and get it out to center ice. Trenyon back and off to John Merrill. Before finding Gaudreau, he'll swerve it the way of Faber. Floats a pass through the neutral ice area. Knocked down by Perry out of midair. Drop back for his defense, where Kulak found Emberson. Ty Emberson lugs it along. Emberson deep into the Wild zone, leaned on by Murat Husnadinov. Skinner supported for the Oilers, got it to Emberson, who chucked it in front, that deflects wide. Trenyon had tied up right wing side from his defensive perspective. Skinner took it from him and tried to carve out in front, a little knuckling puck in the blue paint. Fleury had it for a moment, no whistle. Digging it free, Devin Shore. Shore, former Dallas Stars draft pick. In his first season with the Wild organization, carries ahead, stopped and jammed on the brakes right circle, fired a shot, Pickard knocked it down, and he'll get a whistle.
Yeah, good play by Shore, also doing his job, and that's the control on the puck. They're getting the shot to the front of the net there, and Pickard handles that one, and that'll get the stoppage of play and a chance to clean up the ice.
10:48 left in regulation. The Wild at home, losing 6-1 to the Oilers. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
How about Josh Allen? He's amazing. Right now, he's the NFL MVP.
When it happens in the NFL, we're reacting to it on Sirius XM NFL Radio.
Pittsburgh Steelers are for real with Russell Wilson under center. He is red hot.
Get closer to the game with interviews with players, coaches, and executives.
Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy joining us.
We have a hell of a culture here, and it's something I'm very proud of. From the field to the front office, nobody covers the game like Sirius XM NFL Radio, Channel 88.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
Alex Ovechkin!
The NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on demand with the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, loose in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
It's
10:48 to go here in the third period, and it's been all Edmonton in this game as far as goals go. They have scored 6, Minnesota just 1. Power plays have resulted in a couple of good goals by the Edmonton Oilers. They are 2 for 4 with a man advantage. Minnesota still has a little parade to the penalty box every once in a while. Right now the face-off deep in the Edmonton zone.
Oilers come up with the face-off. They turn it over, back of the net. Shore looks to center. That's batted around. Kapanen found Draisaitl, Leon Draisaitl, hoping for Podkolzin. Got a couple of assists in this hockey game. Podkolzin, the team leader in hits, traded in the middle of August from the Vancouver Canucks as Husnadinov leads the charge ahead. Off to Jones, who floated it just wide. Oilers dig it free and nearly lose it. A battle just inside the Edmonton blue line comes loose for Kulak. The stash along, Draisaitl stuffed it ahead. Podkolzin chips it back. And both teams change on the fly with Brett Kulak sitting in his own slot for Edmonton. Halfway home now in the third. Wild from right to left on your radio dial. Oilers from left to right. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed with you. The Wild swept their last homestand of 3 games. They kicked off a 5-game homestand here tonight. 3 of the 5 opponents playoff teams when action started here today in the National Hockey League. Kaprizov to Rossi. He'll chop it in and then go after it before finding Kaprizov, who's hounded immediately by 2 white jerseys. Loose puck, grabbed by Kaprizov right side, sent it back for Rossi. It got away from him, keeping it at the point. Bogosian will spin and just wheel it down low. Remember, in Edmonton, again, the Wild won that game 5-3. Kaprizov was hurt in that hockey game. Tonight against the Oilers here at home, the Wild losing Jake Middleton in the first shift. Stetcher at the blue line, bumped by Bogosian. He lost it. Marcus Johansson charges ahead. Johansson got his 11th three-point game of his career Tuesday in Utah for Minnesota. Here he just tries to sweep one down low. It's stolen away by Edmonton, and they'll curl back as both teams change again.
Yeah, and you mentioned three-point games also, and that's one thing about Middleton. He's got four games this year. He's got 3 points in the game, so his loss is a huge loss for Minnesota.
Chisholm back in his own zone for the Wild. And now it's Foligno to Hartman. Boldy cuts through center ice. Wanted to go back to Hartman. It was a touch too far. Hartman hustles to it, sped it around the boards. And the Oilers get it ahead. Hyman finding Nugent Hopkins. Will tap it in. Back is Faber. Brock Faber cuts behind his own cage. Turned to his backhand. Just tapped off the end wall. Regathers himself. Picks his head up and rips a pass up ice. And Hartman bunted along. Numbers here for the Wild with Foligno. But Edmonton gets back in a hurry. And so Foligno just fired a long shot. Blockered away by Pickard. Ekholm sends it free. And now McDavid shot out of a cannon. Racing into the Wild slot. Lost it. Merrill pushed him away from any path to retrieving that puck. And the Wild do clear it out the center.
So who's a better player, Draisaitl or McDavid?
Draisaitl's got some pretty good numbers against the Wild, Tom, but, you know, I think just the skating part for me puts McDavid a notch ahead.
But Draisaitl is so strong also.
Yes.
You watch the guys just bounce off of him.
Yep.
He's got that long reach also.
Turnover by Trenyon, a kick save by Fleury on that opportunity from the Oilers. Perry to the rebound. He wanted the center. That deflects along. Merrill grabs it left wing side and flings it out to neutral ice. Lauko barrels it in from center. Again, both teams change. The shots were 31-23 at our last TV timeout. Again, I stated that way because they are having some issues updating things on the video board here in the shot department. And at Tom's point earlier, we kind of wish that they would have trouble adjusting the score.
Yeah, the shots right now are 24 for Minnesota and 31 on the Edmonton side.
Stoppage here, 6:58 to go. Timeout on the ice. The Oilers lead the Wild 6-1. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
As a business leader, every day brings countless decisions. Some big, some small, some easy, and some you need to sleep on. Work with a banker who gets you, gets your business, and can help you make the right decisions to meet your goals. So you're not just navigating between choices, you're planning your success. Work with Bremer Bank, because understanding is everything. Put us to work for you today at bremer.com.
Hey, Wild fans, you want your family to be warm and comfortable during our Minnesota winters, right? That's why it's good to know the knowledgeable and friendly dealers at Bryant Heating and Cooling who will do whatever it takes to keep your heating system running safely and efficiently, no matter what the weather throws at you. Plus, score up to $2,600 in tax credits on qualifying Bryant systems and ask about rebates and financing for qualified buyers. Find your local dealer at Bryant.com. Bryant, official heating and cooling company of the Minnesota Wild.
Central Division scoreboard.
Here's a surprise. Let's go to Colorado at Ball Arena. The Utah Hockey Club leads the Avalanche 3-0 after 2 periods of play. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the Central Division, we've got the Blackhawks. They lose in Long Island. They lose to the Islanders 5-4. Blues lose to the Sharks 4-3. Macklin Celebrini with 2 goals and an assist. Predators go to Big D and take out the Stars 4-1. And the Golden Knights use overtime to beat the Jets 3-2 in Winnipeg. That's a look at your out-of-town scoreboard from the Central Division. Now back to Joe and Tom.
Yeah, nice to see Nashville having that victory today also, Kevin, in their 30th game. But they have struggled. Of course, Andrew Burnett, the head coach there, and Darby Hendrickson, the assistant coach there. So they've got a big hole to climb out of. And mention, Utah, that's going to be a good hockey club. They've got some really good young kids at that front end, and that's a team that's going to be reckoned with. we get to see them also in this 5-game. I think it's the last game of the 5 games that we have here in this building.
It is, and it'll be exactly 10 days for the meeting just a couple of nights back. The Wild won come from behind fashion in the shootout. Loose puck trickles ahead, out through center, and hustling back for Zach Bogosian. Bogosian cuts to his left to get away from the pressure of Janmark. He'll knuckle it along. Hustadinov finds Jones. Jones a long shot. That caught the glass. Jones racing to his own rebound. Trying to feed it near the blue line. That's swiped away, and through center ice, Jeff Skinner flops it in. Fleury with his goal stick out to bat it around right side. Kaprizov fresh off the bench. Poked it along for Rossi. Nurse closed on him. Darnell Nurse able to come up with this puck. Got it then to Skinner. Skinner goes to the weak side, or the right wing boards. Draisaitl charges in. And his high riser in tight, left the playing surface.
Draisaitl, one of those guys that just seems to have the ability to do anything he wants to do. There's a big, heavy body also, and that's one thing that Minnesota trying to knock him down, having a hard time doing that.
Under 6 minutes left. 6-1 the deficit for Minnesota here at home. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Passing along energy-saving tips to your kids can make a big difference today and for tomorrow. Teach them to turn lights off when they leave the room, or why it's important to adjust a thermostat, even by a degree or two. Let your children be in charge and help them understand the value of energy conservation. Learning these simple yet important behaviors at a young age will help them take these energy-saving habits into adulthood. Visit xlenergy.com/ways to save for more ways your family can help conserve energy in your home.
Hey, Wild fans, it's game day, and your hockey fandom needs fuel. With over 30 locations across the Twin Cities and western Wisconsin, Carboni's Pizza has successfully been fueling hockey season since 1954. Whether you're gearing up for puck drops, celebrating a win, or just hungry for pizza the whole family loves, Carboni's delivers every time. Fuel your fandom with a slice of the neighborhood, a slice of the game, and a slice of Wild pride. Find your nearest Carboni's location today at carbonis.com.
Hey, Minnesota Wild fans, fuel up for game day with Just Bear Chicken, the official chicken of the Wild. At Just Bear Chicken, we believe the best meals start with the best ingredients. That is why all our chickens are raised with no antibiotics ever, so you can enjoy delicious and nutritious chicken with confidence. Find Just Bear Chicken in the fresh or frozen aisle at your local grocery store today. And let's go Wild.
Well, 5:57 to go here in the third period. Edmonton with a 6-1 lead. They've outshot Minnesota 33-24 in this contest. Right now the faceoff deep in the Minnesota zone to the left of Marc-Andre Fleury, who replaced Philip Gustafsson for the start of the third period.
Leon Draisaitl thrown from the faceoff circle. His 27th career 4-point game here. Ties Mark Messier for 4th place all-time on the Oilers franchise list. And the 10th most ever 4-point games by a player born outside of North America, surpassing the great Peter Forsberg. Draisaitl, of course, of German descent, as through the neutral zone comes Spurgeon, who'll roll it in. Draisaitl back to pick it up. His pass snapped onto the tape of Kulak. Kulak leaves it back for Draisaitl, who cuts to his left and feeds Kapanen. He'll step over the blue line. Spun away from Rossi, launched it to the slot, cut off by Johansson. Johansson pressured by Podkolzin. Johansson a carried ahead, weave past a bit of pressure, comes in where Pickard just knocks it aside. A little bit more than 5 minutes to go now. If you're just joining us, Jake Middleton injured in the opening minute of this hockey game, has not returned for Minnesota. Oilers got a power play goal early. It was first credited to Draisaitl, then it became Hyman's tally. Oilers then made it 2-0 on a strike by Kapanen. That right now is the game-winning goal. The Wild got a late power play goal in the first that was originally credited to Brock Faber, then changed to Freddie Gaudreau. Nothing since from Minnesota offensively. The Oilers have the last 4 of this hockey game. And it was an early second period shorthanded goal that really shifted the momentum As offside, the Wild trying to hold in at the blue line, 4:31 to go.
Yeah, Joe, you look at shots also, and you look at quality shots, and Minnesota's had not too many quality shots in this hockey game, and they've been stymied ever since the injury to Middleton, who also has been so good offensively for this hockey club here in Minnesota. He's a plus 22 coming into the contest, which is number 1 in the league overall in your plus-minus stats.
Entering play today in the NHL, the Wild had trailed, total time trailing, third fewest in the league. Only the Kings and Caps had trailed less minutes and seconds in the season. And this game, the Wild have trailed a lot, Tom, and it makes it so much harder when you lose a player early, then you're behind the 8 ball on the scoreboard, just trying to grind it out.
Yeah, and you said about losing, and who you lose also. Yeah. I mean, that being the key. And you can have injuries, and that's okay, but when you lose your star players, as Minnesota has done this season, with Middleton adding to that, it really hurts your ability to have any type of an offense.
Jake Middleton entered this game leading the NHL at a plus 22. He's top 10 in the league in blocks. Over the last 3 games prior to this one, he had blocked 14 shots. Well, ironically enough, his first block of this hockey game has sent him to the dressing room. So life without the 28-year-old Jake Middleton beginning here tonight for the Wild. We'll try to get an update for you on Saturday when the Wild and Flyers play at 1 o'clock as Hyman carries in for Edmonton. A toe drag moving a shot, fought off by Fleury. Boldy to the rebound, right circle headman Ryan Hartman. Near the offensive blue line, spins it in. Hartman dumped the man Bouchard. Puck turned over. Chisholm, left circle. Down to Hartman for a shot. Stick save Pickard, and Bouchard hobbled to the Oilers bench. As he went back for that puck, and Hartman played the body. Bouchard is in a lot of discomfort.
Yeah, he's sitting on the bench right now. He is certainly in discomfort.
Ekholm gains the center line and flips it in. Oilers have given up 2 goals or fewer in 5 of the last 7. They are looking to add to that hot streak of stingy play. A 1.86 goals against average over their last 7 games. That's tops in the NHL. And that again on the heels of a loss to the Wild. So they're about to win 7 of 8 since Minnesota dumped them in their own barn just a few weeks back. Almost like it got their attention. I mean, I remember when we left Edmonton, Tom, we were thinking, boy, Oilers are a little bit of a mess defensively. The Wild gave them all kinds of fits. They just didn't look very sharp in their own building. They're about to win 7 of 8 since.
Yeah, just a complete reversal here.
Nurse a point shot and they score. Hit a body, Karam's in. Derek Ryan with the deflection. And it is 7-1 Edmonton.
Yeah, Nurse with that heavy shot coming from that point position also on the left side. The Nurse just in the right place at the right time and gets a piece of it, and with that it's in the net, and it gives a 7-1 lead for Edmonton over Minnesota. This goal coming at 17:26.
Darnell Nurse 2 assists in this period, and now cracked the 200-point plateau in his young career. Edmonton in a stretch where they play 8 of 9 at home. This is the only game on the road for them in a 9-game stretch. A lot of barking between the 2 benches here. Hartman right in the middle of it. Again, he dumped Bouchard a moment ago.
And I'm sure that's what they're barking at, too.
Can't tell which Edmonton player that was. He's down by the forwards on the Oilers bench, closest to the Wild bench, which makes communicating and chirping one another just a touch easier. Enrique drive, glove save, Fleury. And Fleury bats the puck towards the sideboards in frustration.
Yeah, I think that's frustration for everybody in that Minnesota side right now. And that'll keep the face-off to the right of Marc-Andre Fleury with 2:12 to go.
Fleury has beaten the Oilers 17 times in his career. Won't be on the hook either way here tonight. Draisaitl now leaning over from the Oilers bench, doing a lot of chatting with the Wild. These 2 teams will play again next month back here in St. Paul.
Brown, time of the goal, 17:26. Bryant, Nurse, and Brown at 17:26.
Connor Brown's got a 2-point game as well. January the 15th, these 2 sides will play here back in this building as Shore gets up slowly in the Oilers zone. He's a bit dazed. Faber cross-check on Skinner's. Nurse walks in with a long drive, flurry the save. He wants to play it, and he will. Pushed it into Spurgeon, who was side of the cage. He'll force it over to Faber. And I think each team at this point was kind of looking for the clock to dwindle down. 80 seconds left. The Wild chop one in. It's flipped along. Kapanen guides it ahead. Bogosian back to grab it. He'll use the top of the dasher. As we now hit the final minute here in regulation. Wild staring at their largest deficit by far in a game this season. Second time this year they've given up 7. The previous time was in Philadelphia late October, their first regulation loss of the year, 7-5 at the hands of the Flyers. We'll be here on Saturday afternoon. Emberson to Kapanen. Kasperi Kapanen dancing with the puck. He'll hook back. Kapanen with a pass tipped by Gaudreau. Lauko now finding Gaudreau. 3 Oilers back, so Freddie Gaudreau, the long wrister that's knocked down by Pickard, will push it into the corner to keep things moving. Half minute left. Gaudreau to the right point. Bogosian loads, blast one, blocked by Podkolzin. That takes some guts there, up 6. Could have easily let that shot get through.
Yeah, but when those situations come about, you're not even thinking about the score. You're thinking, I got to block this shot. And he did that, but of course there's always a price to pay as well, but it appears to be okay.
Sure his teammates appreciated that effort. Sure it's one of those clips they'll show in video. Tom up 6. Hey, we don't quit. We don't change things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
15 seconds to go now, or 14.9, I should say. The Wild down 7-1. Husnudinov and Brown on the draw. Husnudinov won it. Short tap free. Merrill, a quick wrister, blockered away by Pickard. Bogosian couldn't keep the line. Connor Brown nudges it ahead. Janmark with 5 seconds left. Carries in. Fired one of the back posts. That goes wide, and the horn sounds. The Minnesota Wild dropped here at home as the Oilers have won 4 in a row. They beat the Wild here tonight 7-1 as Minnesota opens up the homestand with a bit of a thud.
Yeah, you look at the shots also. The final shot's 34 for Edmonton, and it will be 28 for Minnesota. And right now the Edmonton team goes out congratulating their goaltender. Minnesota did not have a lot of quality shots, and of course it started right from the beginning, that first shift when Middleton got hurt, and then it was disruption all the way through.
The Oilers are now 17-10-2. 9 of those 17 wins have come on the road. 4 straight in the win column, 7 of the last 8. For Edmonton have ended up with 2 points in the standings, as they've now won 4 straight against Central Division foes. The Wild dropped to 5-3-2 against the Pacific Division, 7-4-1 at home, and 19-6-4 overall. And they will hold tonight here with 42 points. Winnipeg was in action earlier. They lost in overtime to Vegas, but the Winnipeg Jets, by virtue of that point in the standings, now leapfrog the Wild again. They have played 2 more games in Minnesota, but 43 points for Winnipeg, 42 for Minnesota. Top the Western Conference standings with Vegas and L.A. sort of right on both of those teams' heels.
Yeah, and I think, of course, Philadelphia coming here for the matinee game on Saturday at 1 p.m., and with that, I think they won today as well, so that gives them 2 victories in a row. So they'll have a little more confidence coming into this building. The fact they beat Minnesota in Philadelphia adds to that as well.
So the Wild had won 11 of the last 13 against the Oilers and 6 straight here on home ice against Edmonton, but Oilers even up the season series at a game apiece with a resounding 7-1 victory here tonight in St. Paul. Philip Gustafson will suffer the loss. Fleury played the 3rd period. Calvin Pickard gets the win for Edmonton. They outshoot the Wild. They convert a couple times on the power play, once shorthanded. And Freddie Gaudreau with a deflection on a man advantage for Minnesota, the only goal tonight for the Wild. All right, Tom, I'm sure we'll talk more about this, needing to bounce back Saturday. The Wild have been so good after a regulation loss this year. They're 5-0-0 when they have a regulation loss in their previous game. But they're going to have, I don't want to say a lot of time. It's going to be kind of a quick turnaround. That afternoon game Saturday, they've got some injuries to deal with. It'll be tough Saturday with Philly coming in.
Yeah, you're right. Depends what they're going to do also. Just boost up that blue line for Minnesota and go from there. But when that happened, also it just seemed to disrupt everything with the squad. Some guys are going left side, right side, where they're not used to, and you can see there was some question, even from the players, of where am I supposed to go now? What do I do? And, as a result of that, they didn't have their best game. They lost one. And every team goes through this at some point. You lose a bad game. It's how you bounce back and how you handle it.
So the Wild fall by 6 to the Oilers here tonight at home. That's going to do it for this portion of tonight's broadcast. Thanks for tuning in. My thanks to Zach Halverson, our engineer here in the Al Shaver press box. Tim Parochkin, Kevin Fulness, also here in St. Paul. Excellent work by them, as always. For Tom Reed, I am Joe O'Donnell signing off. We'll be on the air Saturday at 12:45 p.m. for a 1 p.m. puck drop with the Philadelphia Flyers coming to town. 7-1 the final. The Wild upended in their largest margin of defeat in this young season. We'll catch you Saturday afternoon. Again, thanks for listening. Stick around.